count 0-2. Dave Roberts has played very well against the Dodgers, but of course he plays well against everybody. He's hitting .295 against the Dodgers, but in his career, the former Dodger is hitting .330. So Dave starts it off on a night that shows 78 degrees for the temperature, and Penny working from the first base side of the rubber, and the big guy comes back 0-2 with a fastball down and away, and it's a 1-2 count. So Penny trying to count his pitches, that is so very often. In his shutout for 6 innings, he made 103 pitches, and we'll be counting them all the way. Brad into his windup, and the 1-2 pitch coming up to Roberts. And Dave, it's a little ground ball to the right side. Jeff Kent picks it up, throws to Nomar in time, and we have 1 out in the first inning. Take a look at the Dodgers defensively, and fellas are at more familiar positions on the infield. Garciaparra returns, missed a couple of games with a strained quad. Jeff Kent's back at second for Call and Betamete on the left side. Marlon Anderson is playing instead of Andre Ethier in left. Lofton and then Drew and Martin behind the plate. And here's Brian Giles, and an off-speed pitch in nicely for a strike, and the count 0-1. So a big bender for a strike. Giles hitting only .200 against the Dodgers with a half a dozen runs batted in. Each side has some players who are starving against the other team. Giles takes inside 1-1. So Giles comes in hitting only .200. If you look at the Dodger hitters, there are quite a few fellows who have been struggling, as you can well imagine. Give you an idea, J.D. Drew's hitting 100. The 1-1 pitch, and Giles fouls it away off to the left, and the count 1-2. For both teams looking back to see what the Philadelphia Phillies are doing, and it was Dave Roberts who said, of course we play scoreboard, we're human, we know how important it is. And the news out of Philadelphia for Bruce Bochy and for Grady Little, the Cubs beat Philadelphia 11-6. The 1-2 pitch to Brian Giles, low and inside at his left foot. Giles, of course, gets himself a lot of walks. In that Cub game, by the way, they led 8-0, and the Phillies got up off the floor to make it 8-6, but eventually the Cubs won going away. 2-2 pitch coming up to Brian Giles, and Penny works. Strike 3 called on the inside corner. So Giles, who only strikes out 50-some odd times, caught looking, and just like that, 2 down in the first inning. So strikeout number 1 for Penny, and the batter now will be Adrian Gonzalez. Adrian Gonzalez against the Dodgers this year has 2 home runs, 11 RBIs, and hitting .255. For the year, he's hitting .292 with 22 home runs. And Penny's fastball is low, ball 1, 1-0. Going head to head, Gonzalez has struggled against Penny, just 1 for 7. So Brad heaves a little sigh as he looks in to get a sign. 1 ball and no strikes to Adrian Gonzalez. Penny, rhythmical windup, over the top fastball inside, throwing easily and hitting .96. And a 2-ball no strike count to Adrian Gonzalez. On deck is Mike Piazza. Piazza returning to the lineup and asked to do something in the cleanup role tonight. The 2-0 pitch on the way is on the outside corner for a strike. So it's interesting, Penny is using home plate. He got the inside corner to strike out Giles, and now works away to get the outside corner, and it's a 2-1 count to Adrian Gonzalez. The outfield deep, especially Lofton in center, and the 2-1 pitch is low and away, ball 3, 3-1. So Penny being very careful to a guy with 22 home runs, and at the same time, you know, he's going to be very careful if he has to face Piazza in the inning, because Mike has 22. So they're tied for the club lead, and now Penny is ready, and the 3-1 pitch to Adrian Gonzalez swung on and lined into center for a base hit. So Adrian Gonzalez takes a 3-1 fastball and lines it to center
for the Padres.
And the batter, Mike Piazza. There was an interesting point to be made on that count, 3-1, and Penny was not going to challenge him with some breaking ball off the plate. He was going to come 3-1, and as the players say, Gonzalez was sitting on the fastball. And Derek Lowe said yesterday he took his cap off to Russell Branyan, who was sitting on a breaking ball and hit it for a home run. Lowe not involved now as Mike takes a strike and the count 0-1. Piazza against his old club this year, hitting only .235, 3 RBIs, no home runs. And in the recent games against the Dodgers, Mike looked like he was pressing. He was trying to pull pitches that were down and away and hitting them back to the box or in a double play. Strike one pitch is low and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Piazza having a good year, hitting .277, 22 home runs, 64 runs batted in. And he has announced publicly that he would love to come back. He would love to play for San Diego again next year. Penny at the belt, the 1-1 pitch, fastball swung on and missed. 1-2 the count. And again, pretty tough to catch up to that fastball. That's coming up there at 96 miles an hour. So Piazza backs out for the moment. Now Michael back up. In his career against the Dodgers, he's had 10 home runs, 36 runs batted in. Penny ready now on the 1-2 pitch to Piazza. Brad deliberate. Here he comes. Fastball fouled away. And that was 97. That's the express that left the station. And he is muttering his Penny to himself. I think he probably felt he made an awfully good pitch, and Piazza was fortunate to get a little bit of the express going by. So it's a battle here with Adrian Gonzalez held on by Nomar at first. 1-2 to Mike Piazza. Penny is ready. Brad deals off the plate, down and away, and the count 2-2. Breaking ball didn't have too much break to it. Dropped down to 80 miles an hour. So Gonzalez hit a 3-1 fastball. We'll see what Piazza gets. 2-2 on deck. Russell Branyan. Penny ready. Here he comes. Fastball fouled away. In head-to-head battle, Mike Piazza against Brad Penny. Piazza has 3 home runs against Brad and a .394 average. So Penny is throwing hard. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Adrian Gonzalez at first. Pull up a chair. We are just starting, and a lot of folks are still working their way towards the ballpark. 2-2 pitch, and Piazza takes inside. So Penny working out and in, and he just missed. So he goes 3-2 to Piazza. And as we always do, please, folks out there in your automobiles, be a little patient. Don't be in such a hurry. We're just starting. There's a lot of baseball ahead. Those folks who are walking are also easy prey in the darkness. So if you're driving, please be careful. 3-2 the count to Mike Piazza with 2 down. Nomar is now off the bag. He's directly behind Gonzalez. Penny plants the right foot on the first base side of the rubber. And now Brad set at the belt. Gonzalez ready to go, and the pitch to Piazza is whacked to left center. On the run is Lofton, reaches up, can't make it. It's off the wall. Here comes Gonzalez to score on a long double by Mike Piazza to give the Padres a 1-0 lead. So Piazza drives in his 4th run of the year against the Dodgers, and it's a rather optimistic run for San Diego. I'm sure they're starting to feel they can't lose here. And in the first inning, Piazza picks him up right away, driving one off the left center field wall. Lofton gave it a shot, but he couldn't catch up to it, and then the ball came back towards the infield. So Piazza makes it 1-0 San Diego. And for Mike, his 65th run batted in. And now one of the heroes of yesterday, Russell Branyan. Branyan, a check swing foul off to the left, and the count 0-1. Branyan came up with 2 out and the bases empty in the 6th inning yesterday. Looking slider, as Derek Lowe said after the game. My hat's off to him. He was looking breaking ball, and then as a big left-hand hitter, he stuffed the ball in the bleachers in left center. So he's got a lot of power. Since coming over to San Diego, he has 4 home runs and he's hitting .318. Penny looks at Piazza, back to Branyan, and that's high, and a 1-ball 1-strike count. 1-0 in favor of the Padres. And down in the dugout, It is Termel Sledge, yesterday's hero, with the pinch hit base hit to right field. Here's the 1-1 pitch on the way. Branyan takes off the plate. Ball 2, 2-1 the count. Russell Martin now going out to talk to Brad Penny, so timeout for the moment. Brad gives Martin the ball, so I think he wants a new ball, and Martin will carry it back to the plate umpire Gary Cederstrom, and there'll be an exchange of balls. Penny is a very fussy pitcher, and he's already made 25 pitches, but Brad is always looking, feeling at the ball, asking for a new ball, and of course he's entitled to do just that. So Brad looks in. Now he's ready. The 2-1 pitch coming up, and the right-hander over the top with a fastball high, ball 3. So he's throwing hard, but he's given up a run. That was a 96-mile-an-hour fastball to Russell Branyan. So 3-1 to Branyan, and Mike Cameron is on deck. So immediately a wonder choice of pitches. The 3-1 pitch, and Brad deals fastball high on a check swing. No swing, says Tim Welke, and so Branyan walks. So if you joined us a little late, Roberts grounded out, Giles struck out, Gonzalez lined a single to center, Mike Piazza doubled off the left center field wall. The run scoring, and now Branyan walks. So a storm signal is up, and Rick Honeycutt is to the mound, talking to Brad Penny. Mike Cameron will be coming up, so as they meet, we can look into the books. First thing to tell you, Cameron is hitting just .214 against Brad Penny. How's he doing against the Dodgers? He is wearing them out. Cameron is hitting .304 against the Dodgers this year with 5 home runs, 13 runs batted in. So he's been the #1 offensive weapon for the Padres against the Dodgers. 2 on, 2 out, first inning. Padres lead 1-0, and Penny trying to get out of the jam. Brad set at the belt, looks back at Piazza, now works Cameron, and it's hit in the air to right field. Going back on the ball is Drew to the box seats, and this one is off the wall. 2 runs will score. Cameron is on his way with a stand-up triple, and the Padres lead 3-0. That ball by Cameron almost went into the lower deck in right field. It banged off the box seats, and the Dodgers in a huge hole. 3-0 here in the first inning. So Cameron got a high fastball above the belt, kept his hands inside out, and drilled it to right. The ball hit the base of the wall just inside the foul pole for a big triple. So Cameron continues to wear the Dodgers out. He now has 15 RBIs against them this year. Breaking ball is in for a strike to Jeff Blum. 3-0 San Diego in the first inning. And Jeff Blum in the past had really given Brad Penny a bad time. He's hitting .429 against him, swings at a fastball and doesn't get it, and the count 0-2. Jeff Blum, as he backs out for the moment, hitting .429. He's 9 for 21 against Penny. Coming down the line from third is Mike Cameron. Now Brad ready, and the strike 2 pitch is hit into right field. It was a breaking ball in on the hands. He singles to right to score Cameron. It is 4-0 San Diego. You would think that's a tough pitch. No balls, 2 strikes, and it certainly was a breaking ball that came in on the hands, and Blum was still able to go down, turn, and hit it into right field for the base hit. So for the Padres, they are all over Brad Penny, and it is 4-0 San Diego. 2 down, and the batter Josh Barfield, the 8th man to come to the plate in the first inning, and Penny's off-speed pitch is in for a strike. 0-1. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Aaron Seeley gets up and begins to warm up. So the Padres are off to the races, leading 4-0 as Barfield fouls it away, and a no ball 2 strike count to young Josh. Barfield in the series hitting .246 with a home run and 4 RBIs, but he's having a fine year, hitting .281, 12 home runs, 53 runs batted in, and the #2 hitter in the National League, hitting on the road. Penny ready, and Brad deals, and a high fly ball to center, but it looks playable, and Lofton is out there waiting and puts it away. 8 men come to the plate, and 4 of them come home. Blum is left on the base paths, and at the end of half an inning, it is Padres 4, Dodgers nothing. 50-some-odd thousand fans, not to mention the 25 in the Dodger dugout, somewhat in a state of shock as the Padres put it to them and lead 4-0 in the first inning. Trying to come back, Rafael Furcal, Kenny Lofton, Nomar Garciaparra, Jeff Kent, J.D. Drew, and Russell Martin, Marlon Anderson, Wilson Betemeat, and Brad Penny, and up against Jake Peavy, the pride of Sims, Alabama. Peavy is 25 years old and has always been a solid pitcher, winning in double figures. He has won 9 so far this year, and his first pitch to Furcal in for a strike. Rafael hitting .296, 13 home runs, 59 runs batted in. 5 times this year he has led off with a home run. Slaps a bunt up along third, picked up and thrown by Banyan, and he didn't have a play, and Furcal beats it out. I think Russell Branyan, if he had the play to do over again, would have let the ball roll. It was right on the edge of the grass. It may or may not have gone foul, but he certainly didn't have a prayer of getting Furcal. But he made his decision, and Rafael leads off with a bunt single. So Furcal with a base hit, and of course he's been piling them up this year. Rafael taking his lead at first with 180 hits. That's the most by a first-year Dodger in 15 years. You'd have to go back to Brett Butler, who had 182. So Furcal is aboard, and here is Kenny Lofton. 4-0 Padres, first inning. Peavy deals, and he's low, ball 1, 1-0. Jake Peavy 2-0 against the Dodgers, 6-1 lifetime, and Lofton checking with Rich Donnelly to see about a 1-0 count. Peavy squinting in, and that brings up a point. He is legally blind without his contact lenses, and he had some trouble with his contacts earlier this year. He also had some arm trouble, but he is squared away now, and he's been pitching very well of late. Peavy set at the belt, looks over at Furcal, now works his hitter Lofton. That's a line drive base hit into center. So the Dodgers trying to bounce back, have runners at first and second, and nobody out. So Furcal and Lofton coming up with base hits, and now the batter is Nomar Garciaparra. Nomar, as you know, out for the last couple of days with a strained quadricep. Appeared as a pinch hitter yesterday and struck out. Nomar hitting .305. We'll check his work against Peavy. And Garciaparra is just 1 for 9 against the right-hander. Garciaparra this year has been one of those hungry hitters we mentioned earlier, and there are several like Brian Giles, J.D. Drew, and Nomar has not done much against San Diego. He's hitting just 192 against the Padres. So Jake Peavy in some trouble as the Dodgers try to bounce back. 4-0 Padres, but a bunt single by Furcal, a line single by Lofton, and the Dodgers feel they're in business. Peavy set, looks back at Barfield, who darts to the bag, and the fastball is low. Ball 1 to Garciaparra. And Jake Peavy is angry out there on the mound, and now out to come out to talk to him is Mike Piazza, and Peavy is seething and shaking his head. So whatever it was, and of course it looked like it fooled Mike Piazza. That's what it was. They're not on the same page. So 1 ball and no strikes. I told you fastball, he hollered to Piazza. A chopper down to shortstop. Blum, the quick feed to Barfield. Back to first for the double play. So an angry Jake Peavy takes it out on Nomar Garciaparra. who hits into a 6-4-3 double play. Rafael Furcal goes to third, and with 2 down, the batter is Jeff Kent. I remember the Padres talking about Peavy last year, and I think it was Trevor Hoffman who said he's a good kid, he's a tremendous competitor, and look out when he starts talking to himself and hollering. Well, he was talking and hollering before he got Garcia Parra. Now here's Jeff Kent. Fastball hit foul off to the right, out of play. Peavy throwing at 93. So 2 down in the first inning, with the Padres out in front 4-0. Let's check some numbers on Kent. Kent going up against right-hander Jake Peavy. Peavy into his windup, back he comes, and Jeff takes off the plate. Jeff Kent hitting .250, 4 hits, 1 of them a home run. Kent has certainly done his share against the Padres. He's hitting .304 as he tries to pick up Rafael Furcal. Peavy ready and deals, and that's lifted down the right field line, sliding to curl foul and back into the stands, out of play. As we always do with a runner at third, we're always looking up to see about wild pitches, and the answer on Jake Peavy, he has 4 wild pitches. Jake, born in Mobile. So Peavy looks down to get a sign. Kent waiting, 1-2 the count. 4-0 Padres in the first inning. Peavy into the windup, deals, and he's low and away, ball 2. So Jeff Kent trying to get Furcal home, trying not to lose the little momentum they tried to build after the Padres took all the air out of the stadium with 4. 2-2 pitch on the way, and Kent whacks it into left center. Back goes Cameron, away back to the track at the wall. Crashes into the wall, loses the ball, scoring Furcal on a long double by Jeff Kent. And the Padre lead is 4-1. So Jeff Kent, who's hitting over 300 throughout the series, got a breaking ball down and went after it. It was actually below the knees. Cameron went to the wall, reached up, missed the ball, went into the wall, and the ball back in play for a double. So now the batter is J.D. Drew. It is 4-1 San Diego in the first inning. And J.D., who has not hit at all, lifts a high fly ball down the left field line in the corner. That goes foul. And fouled by only a little, pursued by Dave Roberts. So if ever there was a hungry hitter in this series, it would certainly be J.D. Drew. He has had 50 at-bats, and he has 5 hits. That translates to 100. So J.D. for the year hitting .274 and still looking for his first hit against Jake Peavy, 0 for 12. The strike 1 pitch on the way, fastball, and that's low. 1 ball and 1 strike. So Peavy has given up 2 singles and a double in the inning, but the double play ball has been a roadblock for the moment. Peavy reading, now straightens up, looks back at Kent. The 1-1 pitch to Drew is taken, a high strike, dips in, and a 1-2 count. J.D. doesn't say anything, just kind of backs out, grips and regrips the bat. Waiting on deck, Russell Martin. 4 runs, 4 hits for the Padres, 1 run, 3 hits for the Dodgers, and we're in the first inning. Peavy at the belt, Jake ready, slings it in there, strike 3 called. J.D. Drew can't believe it, turns to argue with Gary Cedarstrom, and Jake Peavy walks off, having given up 1. And at the end, a furious Jake Peavy walking off the field, and all of a sudden he turns and is furious at Mariano Duncan. What was said, we have no idea. Peavy starts towards Duncan. They are broken up by Russell Branyan, and Branyan telling Peavy to get away. Gary Cedarstrom grabbed Peavy by the back of the shirt and walked him off. But Peavy was furious, and remember, early in the inning, it looked like he was chewing out Mike Piazza. Well, now we go to the second inning, and Brad Penny's breaking ball misses, ball 1. And Jake Peavy is at the plate. Peavy took some anger out. Remember, he hit a home run against Brad Penny in the 4th inning the last time they hooked up. He takes a strike and a 1-ball strike count to Jake Peavy. Peavy hit a home run with a man aboard against Penny back on the 26th of July. Here's the 1-1 pitch on the way. Fastball swung on and missed, 1-2. So Jake Peavy, he is a young man who has lived up to the fact that he will get angry out there on the mound. And right now he's angry against the world. The 1-2 pitch. Penny, a big breaking ball way off the plate. And Brad had trouble in his follow through. I'm not sure if his spikes caught in the mound or what, but it's going to take him a moment to pull himself together. He took his stride and then fell way off, turned his back on home plate. So very slowly now getting back up to the top of the hill. Peavy waiting, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Penny rocks into the windup. Right-hander over the top fastball. A little slow dribbler that's going to go foul up along third base. For Brad Penny, he's going to throw that ball out and get a new one. As we said, Brad likes those balls, and he doesn't like that one. I remember Al Roboski here one night where he exchanged so many balls that the plate umpire, after Roboski rolled a ball back to home plate, the plate umpire rolled a new ball back out to him. Well, Penny's not doing that, but he's already asked for a couple of balls, and we're just in the 2nd inning. Jake Peavy waiting, and the 2-2 pitch on the way, and Penny deals, and it is lunged at, foul tip. And let's see, is he still at the plate? Yep. And there'll be another exchange of balls because he foul tipped it into the dirt. So it's still 2-2 the count to Brad Penny. Working on Jake Peavy, who went after a breaking ball and just did get a little of it. It's also a lot of pitches being made by Brad Penny. He made 34 in the 1st inning. The 2-2 pitch, fastball, foul back. Padres 4, Dodgers 1. Padres 4 runs, 4 hits in the 1st inning. The Dodgers came back with 1 run on 3 hits. The double play, Garciaparra grounding 1 to Blum, and that slowed them down. 2-2 the count to Jake Peavy. Penny turns, ready, back he comes. Fastball on the inside corner. Strike 3 called. And of course a few wolves will bray at Jake Penny as he walks back. Meanwhile, Mariano Duncan draped on the railing watching Peavy's every move, and we have 1 out. So Dave Roberts coming up, grounded out in the 1st inning. Dave 0 for 1. Padres 4, Dodgers 1, top of the 2nd. Penny deals, breaking ball in for a strike. Roberts shows bunt that made Betemeat be on the move. Dave with 12 triples. The amazing Jose Reyes leads the league with 17. And Kenny Lofton is no slouch out in center field. He has 10 triples. Now the strike 1 pitch to Roberts. Golfed at and missed, 0-2. Mike Cameron already registered a triple. He has 8 of them. Cameron's triple, a big one in the 1st inning. Chasing home 2, and then he came home on a base hit by Blum. So it's 4-1 San Diego, top of the 2nd inning. Roberts waiting, and the strike 2 pitch to Dave is swung on and fouled back. So all the pitches that he made to Peavy, now making some pitches to Roberts, and each and every pitch taking its toll later on. Brad looks down, getting a sign. He's got that gamer face on into his windup. And the strike 2 pitch to Dave Roberts is sprayed foul off third, out of play. In looking at Penny's work this year, the number of pitches is high, 117, in one of the better games he pitched all year when he shut out the Rockies in Colorado. 0-2 the count to Dave Roberts. Outfield deep, fanned out, slightly offline is Kenny Lofton, but just a tad over towards left center. Roberts bent at the knees and waist. The strike 2 pitch from Penny is high and away, ball 1. 1-2. For the Dodgers, after the Padres lead, they can't afford any letdown. The Pittsburgh Pirates will be here for 3, and then the Arizona Diamondbacks on the weekend. Penny ready, and the 1-2 pitch to Dave Roberts. Inside, almost hit him at the shoulder, and the count 2-2. For the Padres, they will go home, and they'll play the reverse schedule. They'll play Arizona while the Dodgers are playing Pittsburgh, and then they'll play Pittsburgh while the Dodgers are playing Arizona. They have 7 games left on the road. The Dodgers have 6. And the pitch to Roberts, high and inside again, ball 3. So Penny making more pitches to Dave Roberts, and has run the count all the way. Brian Giles waiting quietly on deck. 4-1 Padres, just starting, top of the 2nd inning. Penny into the windup, and the 3-2 pitch to Roberts is a bad ball, chased and missed. And Roberts thought, he didn't take a full swing, but he did, and he went after what should have been ball 4. So Dave Roberts strikes out on a pitch off the plate. For Brad Penny, that would be his 3rd strikeout, and the batter will be Brian Giles. A thoroughly frustrated Roberts going back to the dugout. Giles struck out in the 1st inning, hits a hopper by a diving Furcal into left field for a hit. So the Padres come up with their 5th hit, and it occurs with 2 out, despite a great effort by Rafael Furcal.
First baseman, number 23.
So the batter now will be Adrian Gonzalez. Adrian Gonzalez broke the spell in the 1st inning. Penny started off getting Roberts on a ground ball and striking out Giles, but Gonzalez singled, and then Piazza doubled him home, and then Branyan walked, and then Cameron tripled home Piazza and Branyan, and then Blum singled home Cameron. Penny ready, and it's lifted down the left field line, slicing and curling well back into the crowd, and the count 0-1. Penny now, who made 34 pitches in the 1st inning, has made 18 here in the 2nd. So 52 pitches. That's a lot of bullets to expend this early in the game. Brian Giles, who has stolen 8 out of 12, taking a short lead at first. Strike 1 pitch, and that's low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Of course, it's the old story. A hitter like Gonzalez, who uses the whole ballpark, whether they want to keep Giles on the bag, which means you keep Garciaparra on the bag and open up a hole on the right side. 1-1 the count. Penny looks over his shoulder at Giles, now comes back, and it's fouled off by Adrian. So 1-2 the count to the fine first baseman of the San Diego Padres, Adrian Gonzalez, hitting a very solid .294, 22 home runs, 73 runs batted in. Young fella born in San Diego, was playing in Texas, and now he's back home, and he is indeed an idol down there already. 1-2 the count to Gonzalez. Penny is ready, looks at Giles, who bluffs, and the pitch is foul back. And those foul balls will just eat you up after a while. I mean, Penny's throwing hard, 96, 97, and the hitters aren't really catching up to him, but they are just getting a little bit each time. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Giles, a very quiet runner up to now. Penny looks over at him. The 1-2 pitch, and Gonzalez takes low, ball 2. 2-2 the count. Padres 4 runs, 5 hits. Dodgers 1 run, 3 hits. Top of the 2nd inning. When the Padres go on the road after their homestand, they have 3 with the Cardinals, and they'll finish up 4 with Arizona. Meanwhile, Gonzalez chases a breaking ball, a slow curveball. He was way out in front of it, so they leave Giles, and Penny, in all the excitement, strikes out the side. And at the end of an inning and a half, 4-1 Padres. Bottom of the 2nd inning with the Padres leading the Dodgers 4-1. It'll be Russell Martin, Marlon Anderson, and Wilson Betemit against Jake Peavy. So the 25-year-old Alabama ready to go to work against Martin. Russell, of course, had that game-tying home run yesterday but he's really been kept pretty much in check. He has 4 RBIs, hitting .265 against San Diego and .287 against the league. So Martin checks in, and Peavy ready to go to work. And Jake's first pitch, fastball low, ball 1, 1-0. Martin keeps grinding away behind the plate. What a year he's had for the Dodgers. The 1-0 pitch on the way in for a strike, and the count 1-1. Every time you look up, there's Martin in a crouch behind the plate. Since May the 5th, he's played in 105 games. That's more than any other National League catcher. 1 ball and 1 strike to Russell. Back comes Peavy, and it's fouled away, and the count 1-2. Over in the American League, Kenji Johima and Jason Kendall have caught 106 games, and Martin is right there with him. 1-2 to Russell. 9 home runs, 58 runs batted in. Peavy looks down the barrel to get a sign. Now Jake ready, and the 1-2 pitch in the dirt gets away from Piazza, and they count 2-2. Mike is not, has he ever been, a smooth catcher, and in this series you can tell he has gone back quite a bit. It is rare for him to handle a pitch that's in the dirt without letting it get away. So the years take their toll no matter who. 2-2 the count. Here comes Peavy, slings a slider, and it's fouled away. So it's still 2 balls and 2 strikes to Russell Martin. Jake Peavy, standing out there on the mound pitching his big game, has been with San Diego since 2002. Won 6 games, then 12, then 15, then 13, but had problems this year, and he's trying to win his 10th. Jake holds the ball out in front as he looks in to get a sign from Piazza. Now the 2-2 pitch on the way is swung on and fouled off. Peavy was pretty sold on the idea of accepting a scholarship to Auburn University, but the Padres drafted him and talked him out of going to college. When he was in high school, talk about being a big man on campus, he was 44-1 in high school in Alabama. 2 balls and 2 strikes, and the pitch to Martin is swung on. Little chopper back to the box. Peavy has it, goes to first in time for the out. Though we have 1 out here in the 2nd inning, with the Padres trying to hold on to what is now a 4-1 lead.
Left fielder, number 21, Marlon Anderson.
Marlon Anderson coming up to the plate, making, well, somewhat of a surprise start in left field over Andre Ethier. Ethier, although he has 3 home runs against the Padres this year, hitting only .214. Anderson, in his time with Philadelphia and the Dodgers, hitting .333 against San Diego pitching, so he is in there. And Peavy's pitch on the outside corner for a strike, 0-1. So Marlin talking to Gary Cederstrom for the moment. No balls and 1 strike. On deck, Wilson Betemit. Padres 4, Dodgers 1, bottom of the 2nd inning. Peavy into the windup, and the strike 1 pitch, fastball and a towering drive to right. Back goes Giles, away back. It is gone halfway up the pavilion. So Marlon Anderson gets the Dodgers a run in a hurry, and at the bottom of the 2nd inning, it is now 4-2 San Diego. For Jake Peavy, that would be the 22nd home run that he has given up this year. And for Marlin, coiled like a spring and then unleashed it and hit it out of sight. Anderson's 8th home run for the year and his 3rd as a Dodger. So now it's 4-2 San Diego, and here's Wilson Betemit, and he takes outside, ball 1, 1-0. So the final meeting of the year, and we better put it, the regular season. The Dodgers and the Padres are going to put on a show. The 1-0 pitch is swung on, and that's going to go down the right field line foul. 1 ball and 1 strike. Boy, Anderson really hit a skyrocket, a mile high, and a good halfway up the pavilion in right field. So Marlin has certainly been a wonderful acquisition under limited circumstances. And the 1-1 pitch on the way. Bettermeat hits a ground ball to the right side to Barfield, who throws him out easily. 2 down. If you like measurements for Marlon Anderson's home run, they say it traveled 438 feet. And now a good hitting pitcher, Brad Penny, coming up. Penny has a dozen hits, including 3 doubles, 5 runs batted in, strikes out maybe 20% of the time, which is wonderful for a pitcher. So Brad checking in. Another good hitting pitcher is Jake Peavy, ready to work him. And Jake's first pitch, fastball strike, and the count 0-1. Brad coming into the game 16-8, but 0-2 against the Padres this year. Peavy ready, and his strike 1 pitch off the plate. And he's throwing hard, 93, not quite as hard as Penny. Jake kind of sidearms more, and Penny completely over the top, and the difference is 3 and sometimes 4 miles per hour. Peavy again ready, and his 1-1 pitch, fastball chopped foul outside of third, and a 1-2 count. Penny has been a force with the bat. 194 doesn't sound like much, but he has hit the ball hard and consistently. Padres 4, Dodgers 2 are only in the 2nd inning. Jake Peavy into the windup with 2 out, and the 1-2 pitch on the hand, swung on and missed. Fastball takes him down. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 swing of the bat by Marlon Anderson, and at the end of 2, Padres 4, Dodgers 2. Padres scored 4 in the 1st inning, and they're trying to make it stand up, and the Dodgers are trying to whittle it away. So it is now Padres 4, Dodgers 2. Marlon Anderson hitting a 438-foot home run, and now Brad Penny ready to work on Piazza, Branyan, and Cameron. What Penny needs right now is some outs with a minimum number of pitches. To give you an idea, Peavy has made 31 pitches in 2 innings. Penny made 34 pitches in the 1st inning alone. So Brad ready, Piazza waiting, and the pitch of the plate is off, and it's a 1-ball, no strike count. Piazza doubled high off the left center field wall in the 1st inning to drive in Gonzalez. The 1-0 pitch on the way to Mike, and Penny deals, fastball low and away, ball 2, 2-0. Well, even on those 2 pitches, it looked like Piazza was exercising more discipline than he did in the other games in this series. 2-0 the count to Mike. Penny into his windup, right-hander ready, and comes back, and it's fouled off. 2-1. I'm not sure if the Padres are going to go up to the plate thinking about taking one just to make Penny work a little longer. Russell Branyan, who walked in the 1st inning, is on deck. So Mike Piazza takes a hitch at the belt and now climbs back in. 2-1. Penny meanwhile with a new ball, ready to go to work again. Brad looks in. Russell Martin shuffling his cards, sets on the outside part of the plate, and the 2-1 fastball is fouled away. 2-2. So Piazza fouling off a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and that has been in some ways part of Penny's problem. Not just the 4 runs and the 5 hits, but the fact the hitters are fouling off those fastballs. Now the 2-2 pitch to Piazza. That's off speed, and it's pulled back a third. Up with it, there's Bettermeat, low throw, and out to get it is Garcia Parr. So the breaking ball takes care of Piazza. 1 away in the 3rd inning. And the batter will be Russell Branyan. Branyan not only walked and scored a run in the 1st inning, he was the referee and kept Jake Peavy away from Mariano Duncan. And of course, Branyan is big enough to break up any altercation anyway, and nobody was about ready to question his idea. He's 6'3", 200 pounds, and holds up on a pitch, then no swing, says Tim Welke. 1 ball and no strikes to Russell. He's a Georgia boy with a syrupy southern accent. We're in the top of the 3rd. Padres lead 4-2. Penny over the top, drops a breaking ball in there nicely for a strike. 1-1. So not living on a fastball alone. You remember he struck out the side in the second inning, and he has struck out 4 so far. The 1-1 pitch to Branyan inside at the right elbow, almost got him. Ball 2, 2-1. With all of his pitches, Penny has given up 5 hits, walked 1, struck out 4, and the 2-1 pitch is hit up along third base foul, and a 2-2 count. Dodgers can't afford really for any kind of a letdown. The Pittsburgh Pirates will be here. A 13-game winner, Ian Snell, will be on the mound against Hung-Chi Kuo tomorrow night. Sean Chacon will then go Wednesday night against Greg Maddux. Two balls and 2 strikes. Penny ready, hesitates, looks down at his feet and decides, no, wait a minute. Though he backs off the rubber and looks into Russell Martin as if to say, let's go over the signs again. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. Waiting is Branyan, and Brad ready and delivers. Fastball is golfed at and missed. And that pitch was down, and Branyan tried to lift it and came up empty. And that's 5 strikeouts now for Brad Penny. So with 2 down in the third inning, the batter is Mike Cameron, and Cameron really hurt when he tripled into the right field corner, hitting the base of the railing of the box seats to drive in 2, and then a moment later, Jeb Blum singled him home. Penny into the windup. Brad deals, and Cameron takes a strike, and the count 0-1. So Cameron has really been the big thorn in the Dodgers sides. Every time you look up, it seems like he's coming up with an important hit. He holds up, but it's going to cost him a strike, and the count 0-2. Mike Cameron hitting well over 300 throughout the series against the Dodgers. He has 5 home runs, 15 runs batted in, and a sellout crowd, of course, for a game of this magnitude. And we still see cars still coming in. And again, we ask you, please be careful. 0-2 the count to Mike Cameron. Brad into the windup. Penny over the top and almost threw it to the backstop. Ball 1, saved by Russell Martin. On that pitch, it almost went to the backstop. He had 98 on the gun, which gives you a story in itself. I mean, what good is 98 if it almost goes to the backstop? 1 ball and 2 strikes they count to Mike Cameron. Penny into the windup. Big guy back, and he's low and away. 2-2 the count to Cameron. Crowd still filing into the ballpark, but the way they're going after each other, as Al Jolson would say, you ain't seen nothing yet. And the 2-2 pitch to Mike Cameron is a fastball just off the plate. Penny froze in his follow through, staring down. He wanted to will that one for a strike, and Gary Cedarstrom would have nothing to do with it, and it was off the plate. The Penny just stopped and stares, and now he has to go 3-2 to Cameron. Brad into the windup. Back he comes, and is promptly whacked into left field for a base hit. So Cameron with a triple and a single. I mean, you want to talk about a one-man gang. He's had 23 hits against the Dodgers this year. 23. So a 2-out single by Cameron brings up another headache for Brad Penny, and that would be Jeb Blum. Jeb Blum got a base hit to drive in a run in the first inning, and Blum is 10 for 22. He's hitting about 440 against Penny. Cameron off the bag at first. He's a 20-20 man, so the Dodgers pitch out, but he's not running. Cameron, with 20 home runs, has 23 stolen bases. And with Blum up there, a switch hitter, not necessarily a pull hitter, Cameron might try to go, although he's trying to increase a very cautious lead. Bluffs, and the pitch to Blum off speed and in there. 1 ball and 1 strike. Padres 4, Dodgers 2. We're only in the third inning. 4 runs, 6 hits for the Padres, 2 runs, 4 hits for the Dodgers, and Penny now has spent 75 pitches. Here's his 1-1 pitch, and there goes Cameron on a pitch out. Martin's throw on a hop, and they get him. And Cameron can't believe it. Quick tag by Rafael Furcal, and that will be that. So no runs, 1 hit, nobody left. On a pitch out, it was short hop by Rafael, and he got Cameron on the hip, and it's 4-2 Padres. Padres lead the Dodgers 4-2, bottom of the third inning. Furcal, Lofton, and Garcia-Parra against Jake Peavy, and the right-hander's first pitch is strike. Furcal dumped a bunt up along third, legged it out for a base hit. Batting .298. Peavy, both feet on the rubber, now turns ready, and the right-hander comes back and very high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Peavy is 6'1", 180, 25 years old. Loves music, especially country music, and has learned to play a little guitar. The 1-1 pitch for Call fouls it away. Do you follow country music? I mean, maybe you know these songs. How about Poncho and Lefty by Merle Haggard? How about Weezer's Dope Nose and Hash Pipe? Oh yeah, from Cliff. And how about The Middle by Jimmy Eat World? Of course. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way. Line foul upstairs off to the left, and it's still 1-2 to Rafael Furcal. Of course, you would expect country music for a boy from Alabama. Rafael 1 for 1 tonight, just under 300. Peavy into the windup, and his 1-2 pitch is swung on and whacked to right center. Back goes Cameron, away back. It's gone. Home run, 4-3 Padres. A mighty man is he, Rafael Furcal, driving one to dead center for a home run, right near the area where the hitter's backdrop is, and a big home run. And you want to talk about a team trying to bounce back. The Padres got 4 in the first inning. It appeared to take all the air out of the ballpark. But the Dodgers now building a picket fence. 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third, and they are very much back in the ball game. Padres lead 4-3. Peavy's first pitch now to Lofton is low. Ball 1, 1-0. Dropped by Piazza and pushed out in front of the plate. So Kenny Lofton with Nomar Garcia-Parra on deck, and the Dodgers trying to come from behind and beat Peavy, who is 6-1 lifetime against them. Lofton hits one foul behind the plate and out of play, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Kenny had a base hit to center field in the first inning, and Lofton batting .302. He has 2 home runs, 36 runs batted in. And the 1-1 pitch is swung on and missed. 1-2. So Lofton with Garcia-Parra on deck. So the Dodgers look like, in all honesty, the feeling in the ballpark for the first inning, it was as if they were buried. And then when they got 2 hits, hope started. But then Garcia-Parra hit into a double play, and everybody went right back down again. Then Kent doubled, and that brought in a run, and that perked the team up and the crowd. Then the Dodgers got a home run from Marlon Anderson. Now a home run from Rafael Furcal, and it's 4-3 San Diego. Lofton takes strike 3 called, inside corner, and down he goes. So 1 out in the third inning, and for Jake Peavy, that would be his 3rd strikeout. Brad Penny has 5. It was, I guess, what you'd call a backdoor kind of a fastball. It looked inside, and then in looking at the replay, the ball drifted right back over and got a good part of the plate. So Lofton, no doubt, thinking out a bad call, but it was a good call by the plate umpire. Now the batter is Garcia-Parra, who takes low, ball 1. Nomar rolling into the double play in the first inning, batting .304. 17 home runs, 82 runs batted in. Yesterday, the Dodgers were looking at Chris Young, who gave up 27 home runs. Peavy has now given up 23. Breaking ball swung on and missed. The slider with pretty good movement on it, and a 1-ball 1-strike count to Nomar. So Peavy is vulnerable. Interestingly enough, it seems like he keeps the ball down, but he still gives up a lot. Slider down and away, ball 2. With Chris Young, you can understand. Chris Young, a leading fly ball pitcher, and keeps everything up. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Nomar Garciaparra. Peavy, a fastball reaching for it is Garciaparra, and the best he can get out of it is a fly ball to Brian Giles. And a little movement on that pitch, so it might very well have been more of a slider than a fastball with a little cut to it. But either way, Garciaparra went after it and hit a fly ball to right. So 2 down, and the batter will be Jeff Kent. And they are here, the young and the old and the very young, who are celebrating with a bottle of milk. Good for you. Jeff Kent not quite ready to get in yet. Kent doubled to cash in for Call in the first inning. Peavy into the windup. Jake deals, and that's lifted to center and deep. Back goes Cameron to the track at the wall. Can't get it. It's off the wall, and Kent goes steaming into second base with a double. I tell you what, maybe we'll look at that video again. It looked like a ball that Cameron should catch. And Mike is standing out there, hands on his hips, and I think he's trying to figure out how he missed it. I'm not sure. He's gazing out towards the stands. Now, I don't know if anybody did anything to bother him, but I think he should catch that ball, and I think most of the time he would. So on television, we'll take another look, and he leaped in the air, and the ball just hit the wall. He leaped, and the ball hit the wall maybe 2 feet to the left of his glove. Then he looked out as if someone had done him wrong out there. And J.D. Drew swings and doesn't get it 0-1. So all of a sudden, from down 4-0, the Dodgers have the tying run at second with 2 out, and we're only in the 3rd inning. So pull up a chair, sit back, and enjoy the rest of it. It looks like it's going to be a dandy for sure. Peavy out of a stretch. You'll look at second. Back he comes. Works a fastball low. And a 1-ball 1-strike count. So Peavy is certainly not a puzzle. Dodgers 3 runs, 6 hits, including 2 home runs and 2 doubles. And J.D. Drew trying to pick up Kent and tie up the game. 1-1 pitch is fouled away, and the count 1-2. Drew struck out in the first inning. He is the hungriest of the Dodger hitters. No, not the .274 batting average during the course of the year, but the fact that he's hitting less than 100 against the San Diego Padres. 1-2 the count to J.D. Jeff Blum directly behind Kent, trying to take a step away from him. Peavy a look back. Now Jake to the plate and just missed outside. 2-2. Peavy has been a strikeout pitcher, very much so. He has 3 strikeouts tonight. He has 195 strikeouts. So his strikeout to walk ratio is better than 3-1 by far. Here's the 2-2 pitch on the way, swung on and foul back. Padres sent 8 men to the plate in the first inning and scored 4. And the Dodgers came back with 1 in the first, 1 in the second, and 1 so far here in the third. Kent with his second double is at second base, representing the tying run. Rafael Furcal, who is playing little ball and big ball with a bunt single and a home run. Drew, meanwhile, strokes a breaking ball down in the left field corner. And it's going to bounce around for a ground rule double. Scoring is Kent, and the Dodgers have done it. They have gotten up off the floor. They have come from behind, and they have tied up the Padres 4-4. It was a breaking ball that was up, and Drew just lifted it one hop into the stands, scoring easily Jeff Kent. And the Dodgers, despite spotting Padres a 4-0 lead, have caught Peavy and San Diego. Bruce Bochy wandering around in the dugout, now up the steps and talking to Darren Balsley, his pitching coach. Meanwhile, Kenny Lofton talking in the Dodger dugout, and Darren Balsley is going to get on the phone, and the batter is Russell Martin. So Martin now has a chance to actually give the Dodgers a lead, and Peavy is really struggling. Right-hander set at the belt, comes to his hitter, line drive caught by Peavy. If that goes by, the Dodgers take the lead, but they will be delighted to know they tied it up. And again, it was Rafael Furcal hitting the long home run. Then Kent and Drew back-to-back doubles, and at the end of 3, we have a 4-4 tie. Well, here's tonight's Aflac trivia question. Do you have any idea who are the only 5 Dodgers in the last 50 years to lead the National League in wins? Well, we give you a chance to think about that for a while as we go to the 4th inning in what is now a 4-4 tie. Dodgers down 4-0, and Rafael Furcal leads them back with a bunt single and a home run. Popped up by Jeff Blum. Furcal going behind Betamede, and he'll handle it. 1 away. It's amazing how a ball game can turn around. It is amazing how one team can be riding high for the moment, and the next thing you know, they come crashing down. And it was the Padres who were high up in the 1st inning, and boy, they've had a lot of air come out of the balloon now in a 4-4 tie. And the batter will be Josh Barfield. Strike. 0-1. Barfield hitting .280 against the Dodgers is a home run, 4 RBIs, hitting in the 240s. 0 for 1 tonight. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, if Penny needed a lift, and remember, he made 57 pitches in the first 2 innings. I think the comeback by the hitters certainly gets the adrenaline going. 1 ball and 1 strike. One and 2. Padres with 4 in the 1st inning. They have not had a runner get to second since. They've had 2 singles. Fastball on the hands. 4 runs, 6 hits for San Diego. 4 runs, 7 hits for the Dodgers, including home runs by Anderson and Furcal. Dodgers also have 3 doubles, 2 by Kent and 1 by Drew. Foul ball. Padres have 2 extra base hits, a double by Piazza and a triple by Cameron. Cameron certainly acted strangely on that ball that was hit by Kent, and sitting up here, and of course it's very easy to sit up here. The game is a lot easier, but it looked like Mike should have caught it. He didn't. And then J.D. Drew dropped that fly ball double into the corner to tie up the game. 2-2. Barfield, whose dad, of course, was a solid major leaguer for a number of years, hit 40 home runs one year. Josh has 12. Ground ball to Furcal. Oh, pulling Garciaparra off because Barfield runs very well, and also Furcal ran up on it. In other words, he not only fielded the ground ball, but he was on the run and really wound up. And Barfield runs well enough to take advantage of an infielder who will wind up. It'll be an error charge to Rafael. He's got a great arm, but when you run up like that, you're wide open for a hitter like Barfield. So Josh reaches on the error. Now let's see what they do with Peavy. Not a bad hitter, but they might ask him to bunt. If they do ask him to bunt, we can tell you he sacrificed 7 times. Full swing, and he pops it up to Kent. So Bochy obviously had a lot of faith in Peavy in a tied game with 1 out in the 4th. Lets him swing away. And the batter now will be Dave Roberts.
Left fielder, Dave Roberts.
Roberts 0 for 2, grounded out and struck out. He had 2 hits and a walk yesterday. So 2 for 4 in that game. He had 2 hits in the Woody Williams game, and he was 0 for 3 against Maddox. And there goes the runner, and the throw is going to be high, and he is in there. And now he came off the bag. So Josh Barfield looked like he was in safely, but his momentum carried him off the bag, and the tag was made, even though it was a high tag. There you go. Tried to get back too late. Gotcha. So the Padres now starting to do things wrong. And at the end of 3.5 innings, it's a 4-4 tie. Bottom of the 4th inning before a spirited crowd now. We have a 4-4 tie. Appetites are also in order. And it'll be Marlon Anderson, Wilson Betemit, and Brad Penny. Anderson, who hit that 438-foot home run in the 2nd inning, 1 for 1, batting .283. By the way, remember we were talking about Penny saying he needed an inning where he got some outs with a few pitches. Well, he only made 10 pitches in the 4th inning. So that has to help him. He needed that. That's a strike, 0-2. You look at the top of the 4th inning, if you like to look inside a major league game, you get a break on the error by Furcal, so you have a runner at first, 1 out, and you have the pitcher Jake Peavy at the plate. As Furcal sits, talks to Jason Repko. Foul ball. Now you Bruce Bochy, and you got Barfield, and Barfield runs well. He has stolen 19 bases. But I think what it boils down to in your mind, now that Barfield's aboard, would you rather have Josh try to steal and then let Roberts try to pick him up, or would you want Peavy to bunt him to second where there's no risk of being thrown out? And Bochy opted to let Peavy swing away. He popped it up. Roberts then never had a chance because Barfield tried to get where the bunt might have gotten him, and Josh was thrown out trying to steal. How big is it? We'll see how this one plays out. 2-2. Marlon Anderson playing for Andre Ethier, and certainly made that decision look good. He was hitting .333 against San Diego this year anyway, and when he homered, it was his 2nd against the Padres. Way outside. The one thing Peavy is yet to do, and he's right on the edge, is giving up a walk. And that's fouled away. If you weren't with us at the very early going, Jake Peavy was a very angry young man. I mean, he was outspoken. He was hollering. The veins were sticking out in his neck. First at Mike Piazza, and then at Mariano Duncan. Fouled away. Whether the anger cost him some concentration, we'll never know. But he has given up 1 in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd, 2 in the 3rd, and he has blown a 4-0 lead. Three and 2 to Marlin, and hammers it into right field. So Marlon Anderson against the Padres is 7 for 17. And now Wilson Betemit with Brad Penny on deck.
Wilson Betemit.
Bruce Bochy is very restless. He's moved back up to the top step, and the reason is to make some signs to his infield, especially to Branyan at third. Ball one. Marlon Anderson has stolen 3, but he's been caught 6 times. Stolen once as a Dodger and been caught twice. And certainly when Bochy came up those steps, he looked very unhappy, and immediately we look in the bullpen and John Atkins begins to loosen up. He's a right-hander. 4-4 in the 4th. Time. So there's Atkins, a right-hander, getting ready. Peavy struggling, and he's been struggling since Furcal opened up with a bunt single. Foul ball, 1-1. The Pirates will be here tomorrow night, and the Pittsburgh Pirates have not had a good year. Last time we looked, they were 17.5 games out of first place and eliminated, but they've won 3 straight, 7 out of 10, and they have absolutely nothing to lose when they come here, which will make them twice as dangerous as they would be early in the year. The Dodgers have had a pretty good look at the Pirates. They beat them 3 straight here, 2 out of 4 there. So the Dodgers have beaten Pittsburgh 5 of 7. 1-1, and a bluff again and missed at the plate. So Marlon Anderson putting on a pretty good show of going. 1-2. Wilson Betemit hitting .265. Young hitter has 3 home runs against San Diego. 2-2. Peavy's fastball, if that was a fastball, has dropped down to 87. I don't think that was his fastball. That's what they flashed on the board. 2-2. And there goes Anderson, and a pitch missed at the plate. The throw down not in time. It was a very difficult play for Mike Piazza because Wilson Betemit, a left-hand hitter, didn't interfere with him, but with his swing, he was pretty much out in front. Mike tried to throw over the top. Watch this. Missed. Now, right over there, and it wasn't in time. You figure the Dodgers are going to run on Piazza more than anybody, and they have been very successful throughout the series. Dodgers actually had 2 stolen bases yesterday when Josh Bard and Rob Bowen were in there. And a line drive speared by Blum. So that's the second out as Penny hits it right on the button, and Jeff Blum makes a good play. Remember the Aflac question? Who are the only 5 Dodgers in the last 50 years to lead the league in wins? Well, you probably guessed a couple of them. Yeah, Don Newcomb, Don Drysdale, Sandy Koufax, then Andy Messersmith, and Oral Hershiser. Big D. So Brad Penny, it's a line drive, and of course Penny might very well wind up leading the league. He's tied with Brandon Webb at 16. And now here he is, Rafael Furcal. Rafael, a bunt single, scored a run in the first inning, muscled up and hit a home run in the third to give him 14. Ball 1. Boy, Piazza really sitting off the plate. Peavy hit his glove and Rafael just let it go by. With his 2 hits tonight, Furcal now has 181 hits, 1 more, and he would tie Brett Butler's first year here. when Brett had 182. Ball 2. Kenny Lofton on deck. Furcal has scored 100 runs this year in each of the last 4 years, joining Pujols, A-Rod, and Johnny Damon. That's a strike. 2-1. So Peavy led a 4-0 lead, and all of the enthusiasm get away as the Dodgers, undaunted by the Padre 4, have come back to tie it up. And Penny almost untied it with that line drive speared by Blum. 2-2. To repeat, after tonight, the Padres go home to play Arizona-Pittsburgh, but they don't play well at home. That is to say, San Diego is only 1 game above 500 at Petco, so you don't see any real advantage there at all. Oh, and look what Colorado is doing to the Giants. Wow. And of course the Dodgers, that's the first stop on their road trip, Colorado. 2 balls, 2 strikes. In the dirt. 3-2. The Padres do play far better on the road. They are 7 games above 500 when they get out of Petco. And they have 7 games on the road, 3 with St. Louis, 4 with Arizona. The Dodgers have what's left of the homestand, Pittsburgh and Arizona. Then they play in Colorado and San Francisco. Little ground ball. Barfield to Gonzalez, who inadvertently had his leg, and Furcal almost tripped over it. Was able to regain his balance down the line. Adrian started after the slow roller, so by the time he got back to the bag, he was in an awkward position, and his left foot, leg, and ankle really tied up Furcal. And at the end of 4, a 4-4 time. 4-4 in the 5th. If you look at the numbers, you realize the Padres wouldn't be anywhere 1 game under 500 outside of playing the Dodgers. And the Dodgers were doing very well, 16 games above 500, and they'd be doing better except they're playing the Padres. So a half a game separates, and we go to the 5th. Dave Roberts left of the plate when Barfield was thrown out trying to steal. So it's Roberts, Giles, and Gonzalez. Piazza due up 4th. Dave grounded out, struck out 0 for 2, hitting 300. Strike. Penny coming off his best inning when he made only 10 pitches in the 4th inning. Oh, 2. Roberts struck out in the 2nd inning on a check swing on a pitch that would have been ball 4, and he was called out for the swing. He has struck out 3 times more than his walks. 50 strikeouts, 47 walks. And bunts with 2 strikes. Forget about it, Russell. You don't have to catch it. The crowd doesn't realize it. He's out. So that's a surprise. Dave Roberts trying to bunt on an 0-2 count and fouls out. Martin could have stopped and walked back to home plate because a lot of the folks didn't realize it. One away. That is the 6th strikeout for Brad Penny, and a rather surprising maneuver by Dave Roberts. So here's Giles, struck out, singled, 1 for 2. And a fly ball, he didn't get enough of it. Drew is there. 2 down. The complexion of the game has certainly changed. When the game started, the Padres came out breathing fire, scored 4, and they were flying high. Brad Penny making a lot of pitches and in all kinds of trouble in the 1st inning. But he has settled down since, And the Dodgers kept pecking away at Peavy and have tied it up. And if anything, the Dodgers have the momentum. They might have broken the tie if Blum didn't spear the line drive by Penny. That's a little foul down the line. We'll go back in the crowd. 0-1. So the bat that broke when sailing into the crowd. So he was left with a swizzle stick. 0-1 the count. Adrian Gonzalez. And a youngster has the other end of it. Not much he can do with that. But be careful. 4-4. Fifth inning. 2 out. Gonzalez had the 2-out single in the first inning. And the Padres then scored 4, all with the 2 out. Fouled away. 0-2. What becomes very important now is just how much stamina Brad Penny has. His pitch count starting to mount up over 90. His highest pitch count 117. That was in the rarefied air in Denver. Chopper up the middle for call. Makes the stop. Gets up. Throws. Not in time. Is he something? I mean, what a player. And Gonzalez doesn't run that well. And Furcal knew it. Gave it his best shot and just missed. Look at this. Down and certainly not out. Throws on a bounce. Gonzalez gets the hit, looks out at Furcal as if say, what in the world is going on over there? That should have been into center field. So the 2-out single, the brilliant effort by Furcal, and now here's Piazza, doubled and grounded out. Starts in breaking ball, ball 1. Mike always dangerous. 22 home runs, 65 runs batted in. And that's in there. Good pitch. Mike kind of flinched on the breaking ball. 2 out. Gonzalez at first. Fastball, but he missed ball 2. 2-1. Piazza doubled in a run in the first inning. That gives him 4 RBIs against the Dodgers during the year. 2-1. Fastball, ball 3. That fastball 97. Waiting his turn on deck, Russell Branyan. Four, 5th inning, 2 out. Gonzalez is not much of a threat to do any running. Gonzalez this year 0 for 1. And with Piazza up there capable of hitting him out, you don't expect him to do any running. Piazza with 3 home runs against Penny in the past. Breaking ball, ball 4. So Brad deciding I'd rather throw some breaking stuff and walk Piazza. And Grady Little now is going out to talk to him as Russell Branyan will be coming up. There's no one throwing in the Dodger bullpen. It's not a case of Grady making a switch as he does so often. Grady goes out and he wants to get into the act and find out what's going on. How about the pitching and the counts? And whatever he does, he usually does it. You could see Brad Penny smile. So probably pitch selection more than anything else as Grady goes back to the dugout. And we all know that Branyan hit a home run against Derek Lowe on a breaking ball. So let's see what develops. Branyan walked in the first inning and struck out in the third. So this is the first challenge really for Penny since the first inning. 2 on, 2 out. Starts him fastball for a strike. It's amazing how a hitter's batting average will go down or up according to the count. So fastballs on the outside part of the plate. Last one was 95. So Brad jumps out in front of him. 0-2. Still a fastball, just to show it to him on a different level. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Brett Tomko is loosening up. 1-2 the count to Russell Branyan. 4-4. Fifth inning, 2 on, 2 out. Gonzalez at second, Piazza at first, so certainly no speed out there at all. So after 2 fastballs on the outside part of the plate down around the knees, then a fastball up around the eyes, and now a fastball inside. 2-2. The old story, move the hitter's eyes around, change the plane of the pitch. Big crowd really into it. And a high fastball. So Grady, no doubt, went out there and said, look, this guy hit a breaking ball for a home run against Lowell. Let's give him fastballs, just move him around. Well, he's done all that, and he's gone 3-2. So that gives the Padres an edge because they don't have any running speed, but the slow runners can move. Gonzalez from second and Piazza from first. There they go. Curveball for ball 4. So he set him up 5 fastballs, then the breaking ball, and walks him to load the bases. Now Mike Cameron coming up. Cameron is 2 for 2, tripled and singled. This triple drove in Piazza and Branyan in the first inning. Then he scored on a single by Blum. Then last time up he singled a left in the third inning. Mike has had, it would appear from up here, some trouble on a couple of balls hit to center. So Gonzalez, Piazza, and Branyan, and here's Cameron. Breaking ball, ball 1. Mike Cameron's last grand slam against Cleveland, against a former Dodger, Danny Baez. That was 3 years ago. 1-0. Fouled away. For Penny, in making a lot of pitches, he has had 7 0-2 counts, and he has struck out 6. He had 7 3-ball counts, and he has now walked 3. He has also gone over 100, and that's why Tomko's getting ready. 1-1 to Cameron. 4-4, fifth inning, 2 out. Ball 2. Brad made 34 pitches in the first inning. Two and 1 to Mike Cameron. Fastball, check swing, foul. That wasn't even a swing. That was a case of the pitch hitting the bat. Mike didn't get it off his shoulders, and the reason, it was clocked at 98. Now this big crowd, a lot of them on their feet, trying to root Penny out of the jam. Deuces are wild indeed. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Fastball hit in the air to right field. Drew has a play. That'll be that. So the Padres no runs, 1 hit. They leave 3. They've left 5 in the game. Cameron shaking his head, and we're locked in 4-4. Dodger Baseball on FSN Prime Ticket is brought to you by Aflac. Ask about it at work. And by Lexus and their passionate pursuit of perfection. Twice tonight, Mike Cameron has shaken his head. Once on the ball that was hit by Kent when he just stared at the wall as if it had done him wrong. And then last time, skying to right with the bases loaded on a 2-2 count. It has been that kind of a game, and there's that much tension as we go to the bottom of the 5th. 4-4. And Lofton, Garciaparra, and Kent. 0-1. It could very well be that Brad Penny is done for the night. He made 109 pitches. That's going to go down the line, foul, out of play, 1-1. Penny had one relatively easy inning when he made only 10 pitches, but he had to work very hard otherwise. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-2. Jake Peavy, 4 strikeouts. Allowed 4 runs and 8 hits. 2-2. Pop foul, out of play. Lofton versus Peavy. Bottom of the 5th, 4-4. And great location. Fastball down and on the outside part. So Lofton strikes out a second time. 5 strikeouts for Peavy, and Nomar coming up. For Peavy, a strikeout pitcher. Last year he led the league in strikeouts, and he's atop the heap right now. Of course, Zambrano is hurting. He doesn't figure to pitch much more. So 1 away, and here's Nomar in a 4-4 tie. 0-1. Nomar hitting .303, checking with the plate umpire. Did I swing at a strike? And drives one to the gap in right center, and that's heading for the wall. It will bounce high off the wall, and Nomar into second with a stand-up double. So the Dodgers had a tiebreaker in the 4th inning. He's going to run gingerly because of that sore left quad, but he didn't have to really hurry. That was double all over it. So Garciaparra with a double, and in watching him run, you realize it'll be a little tough to score him on a base hit. 1 out. Kent and Drew trying to pick him up. Now Jeff, 2 for 2, both doubles. Hitting .285, but far more dangerous with a runner in scoring position and against the Padres. Ball 1. Down in the pen for San Diego, John Atkins up for a second time, and left-hander Alan Embry will join him. So the Dodgers had a chance to break the tie in the 4th. Penny's line drive caught by Blum. Ground ball to Blum. Garciaparra has to hold, and the second out recorded at first. So 2 down in the 5th inning, and the batter will be J.D. Drew. Drew struck out, and then in the 3rd inning it looked like he had a high breaking ball. He hit under it and kind of wafted a fly ball down the left field line, and it bounced into the stands for a ground rule double. So Darren Balsley going out to talk to him now. On deck, you have Russell Martin. So J.D. Drew, who was batting less than 100 against San Diego when he doubled to drive in the tying run, now up there with a chance, and they're going to take the bat right out of his hands. They will walk him intentionally. For Peavy, it's the first walk that he has given up, so they'll try their luck against Russell Martin. Now remember, Martin hit back to the box in the second inning and then hit a line drive that was speared by Peavy in the third. So that was a big out. If Martin's ball goes through, the Dodgers take the lead, or if Penny's ball goes through, they take the lead. Instead, they're locked up 4-4, and here comes Russell. Wednesday night, when the Pirates are here, Russell Martin Sr. will play the national anthem on his saxophone. There he is in the yellow sweater, and Russell Jr. will hold the microphone for him, and we will show that anthem. That's going to be rather touching. But right now, his son's trying to play a base hit against Jake Peavy. Ball one. On deck, Marlon Anderson. Peavy is coming off a 21 pitch inning, and the inning before that 23. So he's starting to make a lot of pitches. 2 on, 2 out. Good slider, and boy, Martin wanted to hit that thing out. 1 ball and 1 strike. Peavy trying to beat the Dodgers for the 3rd time this year and to make his record 7-1. And with his impressive numbers going in, he looked like a lock when the Padres scored 4 in the first inning. But the Dodgers have come back. Ball 2. Remember, Garciaparra with the strained quad, so he's got to take as big a lead as possible to score on a hit. And Blum and Barfield are really leaving him alone, so he can take a good lead. 2-1. You're 1-2 with Garciaparra's leg in this spot. Would the Dodgers play hit and run? And the fastball is ball 3. So a moment of truth for Peavy, and we have seen it happen so often. A fella does not walk anybody, then they ask him to walk a hitter intentionally, and the next thing you know, he loses his focus. So 3-1 the count to Russell Martin. Two out, 4-4. Ground ball to third. All Branyan has to do is go to the bag, and that's it. So no runs, a double, 2 left, and at the end of 5, a 4-4 tie. On this day back in 1963, the Dodgers were in St. Louis playing the Cardinals. Cardinals won something like 21 out of 23. Dodgers swept the first 2 games, but the Cardinals were leading 5-4 in the 9th inning of the finale. Dick Nen came off the bench, hit a pinch hit home run to tie it up. Ron Perinoski was brilliant in relief. The Dodgers won the big game, swept the series, went into the World Series, and swept the Yankees. Let's go back to this one. So Brad Penny made 109 pitches, and Brett Tomko will pick up for him. Ball 1 to Jeb Blum. And a drive to right. Drew going back on the ball to the track at the wall. It is off the top of the wall. The ball's in play, and Blum is into second with a double. So Brett Tomko almost had Blum hit one out. And Jeff, with a big night, comes up with a key double, opening up matters in the 6th inning. Fastball, and boy, did he jump on it. The ball just seemed to die at the end of the trip and hit high off the wall. Too close for comfort for the Dodgers. Joe Beimel is getting up in a hurry in the Dodger bullpen. Josh Barfield is the batter, and then Jake Peavy. And Peavy's wearing a helmet, carrying a bat, and coming in the on-deck circle. So let's see what they do with Barfield. Dodgers shorten up at the corners. Barfield has only sacrificed twice. Fouled away, 0-1. So Peavy waiting on deck. So Blum at second, a possible tiebreaker. 6th inning, 4-4. Boy, what a bad attempt for a bunt. See where the bat was? I mean, if you're going to try and get a bunt down, you got to get that bat out in front of the plate. And he's holding it at such an angle. His bat is actually behind the plate. You couldn't tell it. So 0-2 the count. So Josh is not going to bunt well doing that very often. Termel Sledge. You don't have to have a good memory if you can remember about yesterday. He's out on deck. Ball 1-2. So the boy from Granada Hills, who went to a lot of games here at Dodger Stadium, is going to come up and bat for Jake Peavy, who's still wearing the helmet. And Bruce Bochy has decided to lift him after 90 some odd pitches. 2-2. Tomko, who pitched so very well, went into the bullpen and had some remarkable results, and then things have soured on him. So his earned run average is 5, 8 and 7. Down goes Barfield, and that was a poor at bat, and I think Josh should be the first to tell you that. So 1 away, and now here comes Sledge. Yesterday, Sledge got a slider from Jonathan Broxton and singled to right field to score Khalil Green. And Sledge became the hero as the Padres won that game 2-1. Termel went to school at Long Beach State, and since we're not going to see him again, and it is an odd first name, his dad's name is Melvin, but they also like the name Terrence, so they decided to combine, and it's Termel. Little ground ball to Jeff Kent. So a leadoff double. That poor at bat by Barfield, and Blum is now at third with 2 out, and Dave Roberts coming up. The bunt. It is so little, and yet it is so important. It changes the whole game. If Barfield moves his man over to third, the Dodgers have to play the infield up, and that makes every hitter twice as tough. So now Roberts 0 for 3. Strike. Against Brad Penny, he grounded out and struck out twice. Surprised everybody, and of course that was part of it. Tried to bunt with 2 strikes in the 5th inning. Failed to bunt, fouled it off, struck out. 1 ball, 1 strike. For Tomko, like any pitcher with a runner at third, he has to be careful. He has 2 wild pitches. 4 runs, 8 hits for the Padres, 4 runs, 9 hits for the Dodgers. Top of the 6th. One and 2. Day born in Okinawa, played for the Dodgers, grew up in San Diego. Went to school at UCLA. Hitting .299. Off the plate. He hit Martin's glove, but Martin was set up off the plate. Dave wouldn't bite. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Tiebreaker 90 feet away. On deck, Brian Giles. And I think Roberts will remember that pitch. Wow. Down and in, and Dave strikes out a 3rd time. They lead Blum, and it's still 4-4. And with all of that, we go to the bottom of the 6th inning in a 4-4 tie. A veteran left-hander, Alan Embry, coming out of the bullpen. Out of Oregon, lives in Vancouver, Washington. Originally drafted by the Indians back in 1989. He's 36 years old. And he'll go after Marlon Anderson. That's a strike. 0-1. Somebody in the Dodger dugout let out a holler. All Marlon did was walk up the line a little bit. He hit a 438-foot home run and singled. The Marlin is visiting with Gary. He's not arguing with him. Embry and Anderson. Anderson is 1 for 6 in the past against the left-hander. Embry has a win against the Dodgers this year, 1-0. Foul ball. Embry is certainly a veteran, not only at 36, but he came up to the Indians back in 1992. Went from the Indians to the Braves, the Diamondbacks, 3 years with the Giants, the White Sox, to the Padres, then 3 years with the Red Sox and the Yankees, and back to the Padres. His rookie team when he first started, Jim Tomei and David Bell were teammates. 0-2. Good swing by Marlon Anderson, 0-2, to get a piece of that fastball. It was 92. Anderson, Betemeat, and Penny spot occupied by Brett Tomko, and there's no one throwing in the Dodger bullpen. And a line drive base hit. So Marlon Anderson gets a chance to start this huge game, and all he does is hit a home run and have 2 singles and a stolen base. For the Dodgers, that is their 10th hit. They had 4 runs and 9 hits against Jake Peavy. Now Betemeat, who has not done very well right-handed, is coming up, and Olmedo Saenz is out on deck. Betemeat, batting right-handed, is hitting $1.25, and he does not have a sacrifice. Yeah, he has 1. Ball 1. Betemeat is grounded out and struck out. 1 ball and no strikes. The Padres get 2 right-handers up in the bullpen. Clay Meredith, who gave up the home run, his only run in 30-some-odd innings, and John Atkins, who's up for the 3rd time. 1-0 to Marlon Anderson. He had the base hit. Betemeat up there 1-0. Got the bunt foul. 1-1. Padres scored 4 in the 1st inning. Dodgers came back with 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 2 in the third. Padres had the bases loaded with 2 out in the 5th inning and a 2-2 count on Mike Cameron, who flied to right field. They also left Blum at third in the 6th. Ball 2. The Dodgers have had ample opportunities. They left Drew at second in the 3rd inning. Anderson was at second in the 4th inning. Garciaparra was at second with 1 out in the 5th. And now Grady has a possible tiebreaker in Anderson at first. 2-1. Now Embry falls behind 3-1. Olmedo signs waiting, although it's doubtful they would let him bat against Embry. Embry 4-3. Strikeout to walks almost 4-1. Though 3-2 the count to Wilson Betemit. Well, what do you do with Marlon Anderson? Remember, he stole second in the 4th inning. And we'll see now if Grady wants to run him. Full count, nobody out. Betemit, batting right-handed, has struggled a bit. He has struck out 9 times in 24 at bats, so you make the call. Four, bottom of the 6th, nobody out. Marlon, a very short lead against the left-hander. He's not going. Fouled away. So the risk is great. First of all, Anderson might have trouble getting a jump on Embry, and Betemit more liable to strike out batting right-handed than left. Three and 2 to Betemit. Fouled away. Pretty good fastball in on the hands at 91. Wilson fights it off. The pressure on Embry. He has to throw strikes. They asked Alan Embry what was the worst job he ever had before he played baseball, and he said cleaning out a horse stall, which I guess got him ready to be a reliever in the big leagues. Anderson holding on ball 4. So that really puts Bochy in a jam. A key walk following the base hit. Now Olmedo signs will be called away, and Oscar Robles, who is a very handy guy with the bat, coming up. And talking about coming up, Bruce Bochy's coming up, and he's going to go to the pen. Robles, a very good bunter, so he was coming up in a hurry. So 2 on, nobody out. 6th inning, 4-4. Oh, Bochy wants to go out and just talk to his fielders what to do on the bunt. So Oscar Robles, who had a good year last year with the Dodgers, couldn't make the club this year. Did well, hitting .287 in AAA. So for the Padre bench, they have to be down a little bit. They've blown a 4-0 lead, and now they're in trouble. And ball one. Oscar checking with Rich Donnelly, although you would have to believe he's up there to bunt. Marlon Anderson at second. Wilson Betemeet with a big walk at first, and nobody out. The bunt is down. Embry, left-handed, goes to third, and he's off the bag is Branyan, and the bases are loaded. You can understand Bruce Bochy's thinking about Alan Embry. If he can get his hands on the ball being left-handed, he has an easy throw to third. And there it was, but the throw pulled Branyan off the bag. So the Dodgers have loaded the bases as Branyan's left foot had to leave. A huge break. And now Bruce Bochy's coming back with Rafael Furcal. So the bunt was right the way Bochy had hoped. Embry was right there to make the play, and he blew it. So Allen will have to come out, and we'll be back. Dodger Baseball on FSN Prime Ticket is brought to you by AT&T, your world delivered. By Jack in the Box, where we don't make it till you order it. And by Infiniti, using the power of design to create dynamic, beautiful vehicles. Dodger Stadium is alive and well after the Dodgers were down 4-0 at the end of the top of the first inning. They have not only clawed their way back to get even 4-4, they are now threatening to break it open. And Clay Meredith, who had a streak of 33 2/3 scoreless innings until the home run yesterday by Russell Martin, is now brought in with the bases loaded and nobody out. That old comedian line, you wouldn't give this spot to a leopard, but he has inherited it. So the young man from Virginia, up to his hips in inherited trouble, and Rafael Furcal, who has bunted for a base hit and homered. The Padre infield is up. Anderson, Betemeet, and Robles, and a chopper foul, 0-1. This crowd on its feet. It's only the 6th inning, and we say only. Usually you don't see it this early in a game. A single by Anderson. Betemeet up there to bunt, walk. What was ruled a fielder's choice when Embry's throw, hello honey, when Embry's throw pulled Branyan off the bag to load him up. And that's ball one, 1-1. Rafael hitting .298, 14 home runs, 60 RBIs. Anderson at third, Betemeet at second, Robles at first. Chopper down to Barfield, to the plate in the dirt, and they get one. With a bad throw, and Piazza made a very good play. Barfield almost really messed it up, and it took a fine play by Piazza. The last thing you're looking for is a bounce throw to the plate. But of course you remember too, Barfield is just a young player, and a poor throw. Had it been a good throw, I still don't think they would have had to play it first. So a force play. Everybody moves up 90. So Betemeet, Robles, and Furcal, and the batter is Kenny Lofton. One out in a 4-4 tie. Meredith brought into such a spot. He's only 23 years old. A bouncer back to the box. They get one. They get two. What a spot for Clay Meredith. No wonder he's charged up as he comes in the dugout. Bases loaded, nobody out, and the Dodgers come up empty. Wow. What an inning. What a game. And at the end of 6, a 4-4 tie. Dodger Baseball on FSN Prime Ticket is brought to you by Carl's Jr. For big juicy charbroiled burgers, the name of the game is Carl's Jr. And by Ford's Model Year Clearance. See your Southern California Ford dealer today. 7th inning in a 4-4 tie. Kenny Lofton hitting into the double play to end the inning. And now Brian Giles starts it off in the 7th. Ground ball to the hole, off the glove of Wilson Betemit, and Brian Giles is aboard. So Betemit unable to handle a ball hit to his left. For Grady Little, he saw Brett Tomko come in and give up a double to Jeb Blum that almost cleared the wall, and then Tomko got out of the jam. Then he saw his own team have the bases loaded, nobody out, and come up empty. And now he sees the leadoff man Giles reach on the error. So here is Gonzalez, 2 for 3. And there goes Giles. Hit and run drive down the left field line. Foul. So hit and run. No balls and 1 strike. Marlon Anderson over to take a look. Gonzalez single to center, scored a run. Struck out in the 2nd inning. Hit a ground ball slowly to short and legged it out. On deck, Mike Piazza. Curveball drag bunt. Nomar will have to do it himself. So Gonzalez drag bunting and moving Giles along. It points up again. Remember, they had Peavy swing away with 1 out and Barfield at first. Now they have Gonzalez sacrifice and Piazza and Branyan coming up. And they will walk Piazza. So Mike walks for the 2nd time. Russell Branyan will be the batter. In looking at the past to perhaps determine the present, Russell Branyan 1 for 4 against Joe Beimel. Branyan faced Beimel yesterday and flied to right. And now let's see if Branyan is coming up. In fact, Josh Bard comes out, and it will be Bard coming up. And with Bard in the game, we'll wait a moment and see about a runner for Piazza, because that figures in the 7th inning. And sure enough, Khalil Green will run for Piazza.
Third pitch, please, for the Padres.
You may remember that Khalil Green scored the winning run yesterday on the base hit by Termel Sledge. So Branyan gives way to Bard.
Number 28, Josh Bard.
And in looking at Beimel and Bard, Bard 1 for 2 against Beimel. And then Josh can stay in the game and catch. Two on, 1 out. A strike. Josh Bard started yesterday's game. Had 1 hit, went 1 for 4. So 2 on, 1 out, 7th inning, 4-4. Low fastball, 1-1. In the Dodger bullpen, Jonathan Broxton is loosening up. There's Big John. And on deck, hitting back of Bard, Mike Cameron. Fastball missed. Ball 2, 2-1. So Cameron waits as Josh Bard battling Joe Beimel. And that's a strike. 2-2. Bard, 28 years old, born in Ithaca, New York, lives in Colorado, went to school at Texas Tech. He was a teammate of Jason Jennings of the Rockies on Team USA, and they were in each other's wedding. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And ball 3. Well, let's take a look at Bard's numbers. A switch hitter, batting right-handed. He has struck out about 20% of the time. He has hit into 8 double plays, but all of them left-handed. 3-2, 1 out. The runners go late. Ground ball to Betemeet, down to second. They get one. There's the double play. So the Padres got a double play to get out of the 6th, and the Dodgers get a double play to get out of the top of the 7th. And what will become and is now an emotionally tiring game is locked up 4-4. Ah, how good it sounds, how great it feels. Big ball game at Dodger Stadium, a capacity crowd, and they're having a ball. You would never guess it's Monday night. You're more inclined to think of a Friday or Saturday night. Don't forget, the games coming up are just as important. 3 with Pittsburgh and the weekend with Arizona. Josh Bard takes over behind the plate. Manny Alexander is now at 3rd. And we go to the bottom of the 7th. Clay Meredith, who did a magnificent job of getting out of the 6th inning, is now on his own. 1-1 to Nomar. Garciaparra hit into a double play, flied to right, and doubled to right center. Chopper foul. 1-2. And Garciaparra hits one to left. Dave Roberts right there. So don't forget the Dodgers and the Coca-Cola family pack. You get 4 tickets, 4 Dodger dogs, 4 Cokes for $52, saving 38%. Family pack games are on select Wednesday and Sundays. So the next family pack game Wednesday at 7:10. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com or call 866-DODGERS. Talking about Wednesday's game, Greg Maddux will be on the mound. Boy, Kent a big swing. 0-1. So Greg, who will be going up against the Pirates. He and Derek Lowe figure to work a lot between now and the end of the year. 4-4, 7th inning. Peavy, Embry, and Meredith. Penny, Tomko, and Beimel. And Broxton down in the bullpen will be coming up. And that's stroked into left center for a base hit. So Jeff Kent has 3 hits. It is interesting. The Dodgers have not been retired 1, 2, 3. The Padres had a 1-2-3 inning, but even in that inning, Cameron had singled and was thrown out trying to steal. In other words, the teams are on the attack every inning. Ball 1 to Drew. 1 ball, 1 strike. With a lot of base runners tonight, the Padres have left 7. Dodgers have left 7. We're 4-4, bottom of the 7th. Drew 1 for 2. Hit a fly ball double that bounced into the stands in the left field corner. Struck out and was walked intentionally. 2-1 to JD. A high strike. 2-2. Meaning high in the strike zone, of course. Out of Virginia Commonwealth. Off the plate. So a moment of truth for Meredith and for Drew. His name is Elise Claiborne Meredith III. Shot back up the middle, but on it is Blum on the bag, and a high throw pulling Gonzalez off, and it was good effort by Kent to try and get in there as best he could to break it up. So it's a force play. The Dodgers still alive in the inning. And the throw way offline, although it should have been a double play, and probably would have been a double play with Khalil Green. You have to remember, Blum is having a good solid year, playing every day at short and swinging a pretty hot bat. Green is more of a magician at the position. High chopper to Meredith, and that'll do it for Martin and for the Dodgers. No runs, 1 hit. They leave 1. So at the end at 7, they're locked up 4-4. The Dodgers found themselves down 4-0 in the first inning, so Jeff Kent doubled in Rafael for a call to make it 4-1. Marlon Anderson hit a 438-foot home run to make it Padres 4, Dodgers 2. Rafael Furcal hit one over the center field fence to make it Padres 4, Dodgers 3. And then Jeff Kent, for good measure, doubled in with the double by Jeff Kent, was followed by the fly ball double by J.D. Drew, and the ball game all tied up. Each team has had at least 1 man on base in every inning, and we go to the 8th, 4-4, and Jonathan Broxton on the mound. Strike. Jonathan said after the game yesterday, when Termel Sledge had really beaten him on a slider, and Broxton said, I'm tipping my pitches. I've got to do something so they can't read me and get those swings on anticipated pitches. Fastball hit to right. Drew is there. So Cameron, who had the explosive triple in the first inning, came up with the bases loaded in the 5th and flied to right, and now flies out leading off the 8th. And the batter is Jeff Blum. Blum has a single and a double. Yesterday he had a walk, a single, and a double. He had a double in the Chad Billingsley game, and he had a single in the Maddox game. So Jeff has certainly made his contributions, hitting .261, 4 home runs, 29 runs batted in. And he came into the game hitting .406 throughout the series. Off the plate, ball 2. So Blum, with 2 hits tonight, has 15 hits. Boy, a lot of young players being battle tested, and Broxton is certainly one of them. John was just 22 the middle of June. I mean, he made the jump from Jacksonville, and now all of a sudden he has the key role as the setup man. And he walks Blum. Friends, Saturday the Dodgers take on the D-backs at 7:10, and the first 50,000 fans in attendance receive a free Dodger team photo calendar, compliments of Panda Express. So for tickets, call 866 Dodgers or visit Dodgers.com. Josh Barfield coming up, another young player, and he has struggled tonight. Fly to center, reached on an error, and was thrown out trying to steal. Couldn't bunt Blum over in the 6th inning and eventually struck out, and then almost blew the big play with the bases loaded when he fielded the ground ball and threw on a bounce to Mike Piazza, who made a big play. That was on a ball hit by Furcal, and then Lofton hit into the double play. So Barfield would like to do something important now. 0 for 3, hitting .279. Barfield 1 for 4 against Broxton. Whoops, in the dirt. Nice save by Russell Martin. And he's gone out to talk to Broxton, who throws hard in the middle 90s, and even his slider comes up in a hurry. And with that in mind, we'll check, and we find out that Broxton has 6 wild pitches. So a 22-year-old in a huge game in a 4-4 tie. They were asking him about his nerves yesterday, and he said, no, he said, I was very calm. I just tried to concentrate, focus on throwing strikes. 2-0. Fastball hit to right, starting to slice. Drew on the run is going to have to play it against the wall. Lofton overruns it. Drew picks it up, gets it back in, and Kent's throw to the plate not in time, but going to third is Barfield, and he'll make it when the throw got away from Martin. And the Padres take a 5-4 lead as Barfield does make a huge contribution. So Josh doubled to right center. Lofton tried to pick the ball up as he cuts over in front of Drew. He couldn't do it. And when Lofton overruns the ball, then Drew has to pick it up. He gets the ball back in to Jeff Kent, whose throw to Martin was not in time, but Russell might have had a play at third, but dropped the throw. So Barfield will double in the run, and Todd Walker is now going to come up and bat. We'll see how they rule it. On the throw to the plate, Martin might have had a play, and we'll just wait on the scoring. But we do know it's 5-4 Padres. Dodger infield is up with 1 out and a strike to Walker. Walker had a base hit yesterday in the 8th inning against Joe Beimel. And he hits a flare into center, and the Padres lead 6-4. So Josh Barfield is the hero, and the entire Padre team will be all over him now. The long double, and now the pinch single by Walker. Two runs in the inning, 6-4 San Diego. And the leadoff man, Dave Roberts, 0 for 4. And it is a big moment in the life of young Josh Barfield. Ball 1. Roberts grounded out, struck out 3 times, one of them trying to bunt with 2 strikes. For Barfield, a double, a run batted in. And taking third on the throw to the plate, even though Martin might have had a play. No error charge. 1-1 to count to Dave Roberts. So for Broxton, who came in yesterday 3-0 and then lost for the first time, now right back into the fire, and he's down 6-4. Ball 2, 2-1. Dodgers in the bottom of the 8th inning Marlin Anderson, Wilson Betemeet, and then Broxton Spot. The crowd is certainly part of the story tonight. 2-1. That's a strike. The paid attendance tonight, 55,831. The 16th sellout and the largest Monday crowd ever. I mean, it's more like Saturday night here. 23 times this year the Dodgers have drawn 50 or more. And we'll tell you about this 4-game series in a moment. And he is hit by the pitch. In fact, apparently not. Thought it got him, but I guess Dave did get out of the way. Okay, good call by Gary, bad call up here. Of course, Dave put on a pretty good act like he was going to first. Maybe he went to the film school at UCLA. 3-2. And there goes the run of Walker. It's missed at the plate. The throw on the wrong side of the bag. And what a forgettable night this is for Dave Roberts. Wow. Roberts strikes out 4 times. You want to talk about a long walk back to the dugout. However, going on the pitch, a stolen base, his second of the year for Todd Walker. I'll bet you it's been a rare. Yeah, there it is. First career game where he struck out 4 times. Well, some very good players have had that happen. We were talking about the crowd. The largest 4-game total in Dodger Stadium history. For the 4 games, 219,124. 6-4 Padres in the 8th, and Brian Giles now trying to pick up Walker. Check swing. It's going to cost a strike. Brian Giles struck out in single, flied to right, and reached on an error. Todd Walker with a stolen base at second with 1 out, a walk to Blum, the long double by Barfield to score him. Josh takes third on the throw to the plate. Walker's single scores him, and he steals second as Roberts strikes out. Dropped in nicely. 0-2. On deck, Adrian Gonzalez. 2 out. And he bounced the fastball back to the box, but no play as Walker moves to third. So that wild pitch came back to Jonathan, and he looked over, but that's all. Walker heads up on the delivery, and as soon as it popped away, even though it went back to Broxton, Todd was at the bag. So for Jonathan Broxton now, he has 7 wild pitches this year. And of course, at 22, things happen. Off the plate, 2-2. To repeat, Anderson, Betemeet, and Broxton Spot due up in the 8th. So the Dodgers, down by 4 in the first inning, have come back, but now they're down by 2, and we're in the 8th inning. And ball 3. Brian Giles hitting .269. 13 home runs, 75 runs batted in. Dodgers shut him down pretty well. He was hitting 200 coming into this game against them. And a drive to right. Drew going back to the track at the wall and reaches up to make the play. Fine play by J.D. Drew, but the damage is done as the Padres pick up 2. We're heading to the bottom of the eighth inning with the Padres leading 6-4. Scott Linebrink coming out of the San Diego bullpen, and the Dodgers will have Marlon Anderson and Wilson Betemeet, and then we'll see about a hitter for Broxton. Scott Linebrink, with that record of 7-3, worked the 8th inning yesterday. Padres leading 6-4. Scott Linebrink coming out of the San Diego bullpen, and the Dodgers will have Marlon Anderson and Wilson Betemeet, and then we'll see about a hitter for Broxton. Scott Linebrink, with that record of 7-3, worked the 8th inning yesterday, gave up a base hit but struck out 2. Did not appear in the Woody Williams game. Did not appear in the David Wells game. So Linebrink facing Marlon Anderson, who has a home run and 2 singles. Single to right, only to be cut down at the plate in an inning that will haunt the Dodgers for at least a little while, when they had the bases loaded and nobody out in the 6th inning and came up empty. And that's going to be down the line, and it comes up his 4th hit. So Marlon Anderson is going to stop. No, he's going to keep on going, and he will make it. Rich Donnelly was waving, and then all of a sudden Donnelly put his hands up to stop, and Marlon saw the first wave and just kept on going. So what a game for Marlon Anderson as he triples into the right field corner. So Anderson goes 4 for 4. Olmedo signs, is out on deck. So Anderson goes 4 for 4. Olmedo signs, is out on deck. And Wilson Betemeet now trying to pick him up. 0-1 splitter. By the way, for Marlon Anderson, the last time he had a 4-hit game 3 years ago. The Marlin 2 singles, a triple, and a home run. 0-1 to Betemeet. And that's fouled away. 0-2. The Dodgers have had at least 1 hit in every inning. They had 3 hits in the 1st inning and 3 hits in the 3rd. And they keep their record intact with an opening triple here in the 8th. Fouled away. Betemeet hitting .265. Wilson with 17 home runs, 47 runs batted in. Scott Linebrink, like Jake Peavy, plays a little guitar. 0-2. Fastball lined up the middle. So the Dodgers have the tying run at first and nobody out. Oh, is this a game, huh? Wow. And this crowd loving every moment of it. It's been a roller coaster ride from depression to euphoria and all the stops in between. And now Olmedo signs coming up as Anderson gets 5s in the dugout. Padres 6, Dodgers 5, nobody out. What a night for Marlon Anderson, and here is Olmedo Signs. Signs out on deck earlier in the 6th inning, and then Robles came up to bunt for him. And a strike. And looking at Linebrink versus Signs, Signs 0 for 2 against him. Signs hitting .286 against Bruce Bochy and company. Betemeat at first. Nobody out. Fouled off. In case you're wondering, Betemeat has stolen 3 out of 4. And Linebrink has to keep an eye on him. Boy, it's not Monday night here. No way. It is Mardi Gras night. It is New Year's Eve night. 0-2 to Olmedo Signs. Splitter got him. So Olmedo comes up empty. 1 out. And Rafael Furcal. Look at the bottom drop out of that thing. So Linebrink takes care of Signs. Now he has Furcal. And let's see about what's happened when they go head to head. Furcal 1 for 8 against him, has struck out 3 times. And Julio Lugo will now run for Wilson Betemeat. So Lugo gives the Dodgers a little extra speed at first base. He has stolen 5 bases, but he's been caught 4 times. He was a far better stealer in the American League. That's a strike. Over in the American League, where Julio knew the pitchers, he had 18 stolen bases. In the National League, 5 out of 9, which is not usually good enough. Oh, and 2. Furcal had a bunt single in the 1st inning, homered in the 3rd, grounded out in the 4th, and hit into a force play when he grounded to Barfield, who threw it on a bounce to Piazza for a force. 0-2. Chopper foul. Linebrink, in looking at his numbers with a 2-strike count on Furcal, his strikeout to walk ratio is better than 3-1. 0-2. A lot of pressure on Josh Bard behind the plate, coming in the game late, handling a guy like Linebrink with that splitter and a possible tying run at first base. And a drive to left. Roberts has a play. The crowd looking at that fly ball with their hearts and not with their eyes. And with 2 down, the batter will be Kenny Lofton. And I'm sure Lofton is still smarting from hitting into the double play back in the 6th inning. He is single, struck out twice, and hit into the DP. 1 for 4. 6 runs, 10 hits for the Padres, 5 runs, 13 hits, 2 errors for the Dodgers. Now with Lugo at first, let's see what develops. Garciaparra on deck. Ball 1. As far as Linebrink and Lofton are concerned, Lofton 2 for 11. That's a 182 average. He has struck out 4 times against him. Fastball fouled away. 1-1 to Kenny, hitting .300, 2 home runs, 36 runs batted in. Ball 2. So 2-1 to Kenny. Garciaparra on deck is 2 for 4 with a home run in the past against Linebrink. And that's going to be hit to right field. Giles coming in a hurry. It's going to land. He picks it up and gets it back to the infield quickly. And there are second and third with 2 out in the 8th inning. I was a little surprised that Giles threw to second instead of to a cutoff man. Lofton, of course, with his speed. And by the time Brian got over there, he's going to left-hand it back in. Didn't get much on the throw. And so Lofton runs it in. And the Dodgers now have the tying run 90 feet away. A go-ahead run at second. And with 2 out, here is Nomar. Fastball for a strike. Linebrink, with that split finger, has 2 wild pitches. Nomar hitting .304. And this crowd on its feet. 0-2. So Marlon Anderson tripled. Lugo running for betterment after he singled in Anderson. Sign strikes out. Percall flies out. But Lofton, a pop fly double to right. And the Dodgers now at second and third. 2 out. 0-2 to Nomar. And a good block of the splitter. That's why we were mentioning the pressure on Josh Bard. One and 2 the count to Nomar. Boy, you talk about pressure. How about right now with first place at stake? 1 and 2. Got him with a high fastball, and down he goes. Now the Dodgers, agonizingly close, get 1 run with a single, a double, and a triple. And at the end of 8, 6-5 San Diego. For San Diego, it boiled down to the 8th inning, and Josh Barfield, who hit one over the head of J.D. Drew. Lofton overran the ball. By the time the Dodgers got it back in, why, Barfield had doubled in Blum. Then he scored on a base hit by Walker, and the Dodgers come up a buck short with 1 in the 8th. So in the 9th inning, Julio Lugo, who ran for Wilson Bettermeat, stays in the game at third base, and Takashi Saito coming in a rare game whereby he comes in where the Dodgers are losing. Takashi with a brilliant ERA of less than 2, a record of 5-2, and he's asked to hold that Tiger. Gonzalez starting it off. Manny Alexander will be hitting after Gonzalez, and then Bard. And a line drive base hit. So Adrian Gonzalez comes up with a leadoff single to left. That's his 3rd hit.
Third baseman, Manny Alexander.
And Manny Alexander coming up. Manny Alexander, in case you don't know his background, it's rather interesting. There's no pressure on him at all tonight. You know why? Because he was the guy they thought would take over for Cal Ripken. And when he joined Baltimore from the minor leagues, they moved Ripken over to third so that he could play shortstop. Good bunt. And Saito looks at second and throws to first. Well, you can imagine trying to take over for Cal Ripken. So Manny does his job, gets the bunt down. And with 1 out, Josh Bard coming up. Bard came in as a pinch hitter and stayed in the game after hitting into a double play in the 7th inning. And of course, We mentioned it. It seemed like almost yesterday when the game started. The Padres are second in the National League in one-run victories. They've won 26 games by one run, and one of the big reasons is now warming up in the bullpen. Yep, it's Trevor time. Josh Bard hitting .316. Breaking ball lifted to center and deep. Back goes Loft into the track at the wall. Leaps up. It's off his glove. The runner Gonzalez had to hold, and he can only go to third on a double by Josh Bard. So Kenny Lofton, a tremendous effort, timed it perfectly, just couldn't hold on to it. A former basketball player at Arizona, so he went up, and in looking at that, he might have taken a home run away, if nothing else. Goaltending. So Bard gets himself a long double as Kenny keeps the ball in the park. All Gonzalez could do is hold up and then go to third. So second and third, one out. They are going to walk Mike Cameron with first base open, and Jeff Blum, who's been a pain in the neck to the Dodgers all year, will be coming up. And Blum tonight has continued to beat on the Dodgers. Jeff has a walk, a single, and a double. He has a run batted in, and he has scored one. And he's hitting a ton against the Dodgers. But they'll take their chances. And of course, among other things, Blum, a switch hitter, will come up hitting left-handed. So one out, ninth inning, 6-5 San Diego. And don't forget, the season does not end tonight. The Dodgers play Pittsburgh and Arizona at home. They go on the road to Colorado and San Francisco. San Diego goes home to play Arizona and then Pittsburgh. And then they finish on the road in St. Louis and Arizona. So with Rick Honeycutt talking to Saito, what do you do with Jeff Blum? Jeff Blum with a single and a double tonight. So he has 15 hits and 34 at bats. He's well over 400. He has 7 runs batted in. So they lost Khalil Green, the very talented shortstop, out with the bad finger, and Blum forced to play every day, and he's just been wonderful. So the bases loaded, one out. Time. Gonzalez at third, Bard at second, Cameron at first. 6-5 San Diego. And it goes to the backstop, and the run will come in, and that takes the one-run game away again. It is 7-5 San Diego for Takashi Saito. That would be the second wild pitch he's made all year, and it comes as a very bad time. So everybody moves up 90 as Gonzalez comes home. Bard goes to third, Cameron to second. 7-5 San Diego. Infield has to play up. First base open with Blum followed by Barfield. Ball 2. 7 runs, 12 hits for San Diego. 5 runs, 14 hits, 2 errors for the Dodgers. We're in the 9th inning. Curveball, little piece of it. So it's been Penny, Tomko, Beimel, Broxton, and Saito. And as we said, 1 in a million to see Saito come in with the Dodgers trailing. 2-1. That missed ball 3. Josh Barfield, who had that huge double in the 8th inning, is waiting on deck. Foul ball, 3-2 the count to Jeff Blum. Blum 0 for 2 in the past against Saito. Barfield on deck 1 for 4. Three and 2. Hit foul down the line. Blum hitting .261. He has 4 home runs, all of them hit left-handed. 29 runs batted in. Saito is in his 65th game. And that's going to be hit to center. Tagging up and ready to come home is Bard. Lofton's throw goes to third too late as Cameron moves over. And suddenly it's a 2-run inning and 8-5 San Diego as Blum just continues to come up with key at-bats. So Jeff Blum, a scoring fly ball, his 2nd run batted in. And the batter now, Josh Barfield. 8-5 Padres, and the Dodgers will have to collect themselves and go after Pittsburgh. They have beaten the Pirates all 3 times here. They split 4 in Pittsburgh, so they have won 5 out of 7 against the Bucks. Meanwhile, the Padres will be playing Arizona. And the Padres are under 500 against Arizona. They're 5-7. So this one is a long way from being decided. That's for sure. 0-1 to count to Barfield. That's right. So Josh, who flied out in the 1st inning, who couldn't get a bunt down in the 6th, who almost threw the inning away on the throw to the plate, and Piazza saved him. And then he came up in the 8th inning and doubled in a big run, and then he scored. Mike Cameron inching down the line a little bit from third to try and distract Saito. Oh, 0-2. Line drive, foul ball. Still 0-2. 55,831. It has been a Friday night and a Saturday night combined emotionally. But now it's starting to feel like Monday. Breaking ball, and that's going to be a base hit. So scoring is Cameron. And so the Padres have scored 5 times in the last 2 innings against Broxton and Saito. It is that time of year. Tired arms for sure. So it is 9-5 San Diego. And we said it was Trevor time, but maybe not. They might not bring him in. Jack Cust is going to come up and hit for Linebrink. And we take a look down in the bullpen to see if Trevor is still warming up. You don't usually see him coming in. Nope. It's John Atkins now. That figured. So Jack Cust coming up. Saito has made 19 pitches. And there goes Barfield on a chopper to Garcia Power, and that's that. But that in capital letters means 3 runs. 5 runs in the last 2 innings for San Diego, and they lead 9-5. John Atkins, among other things, had the Tommy John surgery 8 years ago, but he's battled his way back. He was originally drafted by Oakland out of Oklahoma State. He lives in West Virginia, and he's 29 years old. So 9-5 San Diego, and the Dodgers are asked to do what they did, but they've run out of innings. Remember, they were down by 4, came back to tie, and they're down by 4 again. Only now it's the 9th. Jeff Kent with 2 doubles and a single, 3 for 4, rising to the occasion, 7 for 12 in the series. And a drive to center, going back is Cameron to the track at the wall, and gone. So Jeff Kent comes up with a home run, leading off the 9th, his 4th hit of the game. And the Dodgers are now down 9-6. That would also be the 3rd Dodger home run. Fastball out over the plate, and it's gone. So Atkins is rudely treated. 2 pitches, 1 run. Now J.D. Drew coming up with Russell Martin on deck. John Atkins, with an ERA of 3, had only given up 1 home run in 51 innings. And then Jeff takes him out. So here's Drew. Strike. J.D. struck out, had a fly ball ground rule double in the 3rd to left field. Walked intentionally and hit into a force play. 1 for 3. Bounced that one. 1 ball, 1 strike. One and 1. 2 and 1. With Atkins, fastball, changeup, and slider. And another drive to deep right center, and that is gone. Whoa, was that hit? So now it is 9-7 on home runs by Kent and Drew. What does that line do? Not go gentle into that good night. Well, the Dodgers have decided they are not going to go into that good night without howling and kicking. And Bruce Bochy going out to the mound to find out what's going on. So John Atkins is banished in a hurry. Home runs by Kent and Drew. But of course the Padres still have a 2-run lead, and all of a sudden it is Trevor time. So as Hoffman will be making the jog in, we'll be back. Well, it didn't look like we'd see Trevor Hoffman. After all, the Dodgers were down 9-5 in the 9th inning, so he stopped throwing. And you wonder, well, the last time he was interrupted. In other words, usually when he warms up, he comes in the game. But he warmed up. The Dodgers looked like they were blown out of the park, so they gave the ball to John Atkins. And now the Dodgers have forced the Padres to bring Trevor in. He has been absolutely magnificent against everybody, but especially the Dodgers. He is 55 for 57 in his career. He has saved 24 straight. And the last time Trevor Hoffman had a blown save against the Dodgers was in April 5 years ago. A drive into left center by Martin. That ball is carrying into the seats. 3 straight home runs. Hoffman, he had allowed only 2 home runs. Russell Martin's dad is ecstatic. The Dodgers are still a buck short on home runs by Kent and Drew and Martin. And now Marlon Anderson, Julio Lugo, and the pitcher spot. And the folks who hung around to ride it out are in for quite a ride. For the Dodgers, 5 home runs in the game tonight. First time they've done that this year. And another drive into high right center, at the wall, running and watching it go out. Believe it or not, 4 consecutive home runs, and the Dodgers have tied it up again. Coming back in. The people in the parking lot have decided they better come back. And for Marlon Anderson, what a night. 2 singles, a triple, and 2 home runs. A 5-hit game, and we're 9-9. Lugo a drive, but this one is catchable. Mike Cameron. Can you believe this inning? In fact, can you believe this game? Marlon Anderson uncoiling a 5-hit game and ties it up. Andre Ethier coming up with 1 out.
Number 16, Andre Ethier.
Boy, there is no reason to speak when you see pictures like that. And here is Andre Ethier and a dazed Bruce Bochy. Ball 1. Four consecutive home runs in the 9th inning. Jeff Kent, J.D. Drew, Russell Martin, Marlon Anderson, and we're 9-9. Strike. So the Dodgers have done what figured could not be done. They were down 4-0 in the first inning and came back, but they had innings to do it. Down 4 in the 9th, they have come back. That's a strike. It is an unbelievable game. And before 55,831, many of whom, quite a few, are out in the parking lot. Foul back. So Penny and Tomko and Beimel and Broxton are not involved, and probably not Saito either. And Peavy and Embry and Meredith and Linebrink and Atkins, they're not involved, but Hoffman is. Bounce that. 2-2. If you want to break down the 4 home runs, Kev hit his 1 ball and no strikes. Drew hit his 2 balls and 1 strike. Russell Martin hit the first pitch for a home run. Marlon Anderson hit the first pitch for a home run. 2-2. Foul ball. Of course, Hoffman is human. He's not absolutely invincible. You may remember Game 3 of the '98 World Series. He gave up the 3-run home run to Scott Brosius, and the Yankees swept. You may also remember this year's World Series will start in the American League because Hoffman blew the save in the All-Star game and then blew 2 of his next 3. Ethier, a fly ball, shallow center, Blum. 2 down. Well, here's what makes this really memorable. Only 4 times in Major League Baseball history have there been 4 consecutive home runs. And look, they're all 40 years ago. the Braves, the Indians, the Twins, and tonight. And what a memorable game for Marlon Anderson. 5 for 5. And for call, a high fly ball to right. Giles at the wall. Well, wouldn't you know this was going to go extra innings? No, I don't think you did. Not when it was 9-5 in the bottom of the 9th inning. And this crowd is beside itself with joy. You can come down off the wall now, and we'll be back. The understatement of the year would be it's an unusual night, huh? But we're 9-9. Marlon Anderson, a career game. 5 for 5. And the Dodgers with 6 home runs. Back to business, however. Dave Roberts against Aaron Seeley. And it's been a thoroughly forgettable night for Dave Roberts. First time in his career he has struck out 4 times. A lot of the folks who left have decided to come back, so welcome back. Two and one to Dave Roberts. Grounded out, then struck out in the 2nd, struck out in the 5th, trying to bunt with 2 strikes, struck out in the 6th, and struck out in the 8th. And lines it to center. Lofton is there. So Seeley takes care of Roberts. 1 out in the 10th inning. Yeah, I bet you that youngster will be talking about this game for quite a while, as will the rest of us. Yeah, call a friend and tell him about it. Brian Giles. Ball 1. Giles had 1 hit. That was in the 2nd inning. J.D. Drew made a fine play to catch his ball in the 8th. 1-1 the count. So Aaron Seeley at 36. Trying to hold on to this one. 9-9 in the 10th. And a shot inside third down the line. Racing over to get it is Anderson. And Giles on his way for 2, and he is in there. So Brian Giles, a double with 1 out, and Gonzalez and Alexander coming up. Great effort by Julio Lugo, but that was long by him. 9 runs, 14 hits for the Padres. 9 runs, 18 hits for the Dodgers. And they're going to walk Adrian Gonzalez and take their chances with Manny Alexander. You know, this is really a rare game in many ways. The Dodgers have not been retired in order, nor have the Padres been retired in order. Even though the Padres had only 3 men come to the plate in the 3rd inning and Cameron had singled, he was thrown out trying to steal. So it's been standing room only on the infield and at home plate tonight. 9-9 in the 10th, and first place at stake. And the Padres blowing 4-run leads twice. Paul McAnally will come up and hit now for Alexander. Check me. See if that's correct. Yep. So Aaron Seeley and Rick Honeycutt talking about McAnally. He appeared yesterday and flied to right field. His mom and dad have been here. I'm not sure if they're here now, but they've been here for the last couple of games to see their son. He had a walk-off home run, did McAnally, in San Diego. He is 25 years old, lives in Phoenix, but he went to school at Long Beach State, and he grew up in Oxnard. In fact, he was at Dodger Stadium when Ramon Martinez pitched his perfect game here. So McAnally with 2 on and 1 out. Slow breaking ball for a strike. McAnally is 5'10" and about 220. And a high fly ball into deep right center. Back goes Lofton at the wall and makes the catch. Boy, that had a chance to go out. And it just died at the last minute. There is a light breeze, but barely a zephyr. And when Lofton broke to go after it, for a moment, it looked like it might carry out, and he was at the wall. So a frustrated McAnally back in the dugout, a relieved Kenny Lofton, and we're still 9-9. And the batter is Josh Bard. One way or another, I don't know if the Padres will ever get over this game. Foul ball. Not only blowing a 4-run lead in the first inning, that's one thing. But to blow a 4-run lead in the bottom of the 9th on 4 consecutive home runs, 2 of which were given up by the great Trevor Hoffman, not so easy to get over, no matter win or lose. 0-1. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 10th inning, they have Kenny Lofton, Nomar Garciaparra, and Jeff Kemp. And this crowd on its feet yet again. Bard hitting .319, hit into a double play, but he also doubled. And he's going to hit it to right. Drew is going to charge it, and they're going to have to send Giles in. The throw, he will score, and the runners move up. And again, the Padres take a lead, this time 10-9, as Josh Bard with a double and a single picking up for Russell Branyan. And he comes up with another big hit. So Giles carries it in. Gonzalez goes to third. 10-9 San Diego. And Mike Cameron the batter. And of course you realize it could be a lot worse for Grady. That ball that McAnally hit sure looked like it might go out. Ball 1. 10 runs, 15 hits for the Padres, 9 runs, 18 hits for the Dodgers. A shot foul, and boy, that turned the helmet around on Gonzalez. 1-1 to count. Yes, it was that close. Sure was. Cameron tripled in 2 and singled, hitting .266. Ball 2. Tough night for both managers, not to mention the fans. Off the plate, ball 3. Well, in this spot, you're really on the horns of a dilemma. You got enough trouble with Cameron, and on deck, Jeff Blum. Blum rhymes with glum. Hard foul, 3-2. So with 2 down, Josh Bard will be going from first. Gonzalez down the line from third, directing traffic. Full count to Cameron with his 20 home runs and his 69 runs batted in. There goes the runner, and it's ball 4 to load him up for Blum. Boy, you talk about the anguish of a fan. There's a lot of it here, but they'll remember this game for a while. Great. Great. Don't forget, Pittsburgh and Arizona will be here. Well, here is Blum. He has a walk, a single, a double, and a scoring fly ball, hitting .260. And he hits a fly ball down the right field line. A trio of Dodgers, and it will be Drew. So they get Blum, get out of the jam, but they still surrender a go-ahead run. And so here they come, Lofton, Garciaparra, and Kent, and it's 10-9 Padres. Dodger Baseball on FSN Prime Ticket is brought to you by Gatorade Thirst Quencher. It's in the MLB. Is it in you? 10-9 in favor of San Diego. Mark Bellhorn takes over at third base and will probably bat high up. No, he'll bat ninth, and Rudy Cianez, the pitcher, will bat in the cleanup spot. That way, if there is an 11th inning, Bellhorn would then bat second. So Rudy coming in, and he becomes the 7th San Diego pitcher. And it's only fitting, I guess, in this rather memorable game that a former Dodger will come in. A somewhat shell-shocked Trevor Hoffman watches, and Cianez, who was with the Dodgers in '94 and '95, that's a long time ago. He's had a tremendous career. He was originally signed by the Indians out of Brawley High School 20 years ago, and he is still at it. Kenny Lofton is still at it. He'll lead it off. That's right. Kenny has a single and a double, hitting .302. Bellhorn well in on the grass at third. Fastball misses. 1 ball and 1 strike. Gonzalez is deep and guarding the line, so the right side pretty well wide open. And that's ball 2. On deck, Nomar Garciaparra, and then Jeff Kent. Cianez will be 38 in October. Check swing, did he? Yes, he did, says Tim Welke. And a 2-2 count to Ken. Lofton, who had to go right up against the center field wall to haul in that long out from McAnally. Now just trying to get aboard. 2-2. Ball 3. And ball 4. And the Dodgers have a rabbit as the tying run. Kenny Lofton has stolen 27 out of 31. And he draws the walk. Now Garciaparra. And for Boshi, more anxious moments. No lead is big enough. Not 4 in the first, not 5 in the last 2 innings. Nomar hit into a double play, flied to right, doubled, flied to left, and struck out. So he's 1 for 5, hitting .303. Jeff Kent, with 4 hits, is on deck. Ball 1. Rudy Cianez had been with the Boston Red Sox. Only been in 5 games for the Padres. He's 1-1. And a strike. His ratio since coming over to San Diego, you can't really guess much. He's walked 4 and struck out 4. In the American League, he was just about 2-to-1 strikeouts to walks. 1-1. Ball 2. On deck, Jeff Kent, who's had a huge night. A single, 2 doubles, and a home run. And now Cianez, wild. Walks Lofton, and he's behind 3-1. And Boshi is twisting in the wind. And a high fly ball to left field. It is away out and gone. The Dodgers win it 11-10. Oh, unbelievable. I forgot to tell you, the Dodgers are in first place. I think we've said enough from up here. Once again, the final score in 10 innings, believe it or not, Dodgers 11, Padres 10. Stay tuned for Dodgers Live, and it starts right now. Good night, everybody.